Four years ago, Damon Allen led the Edmonton Eskimos to their last Grey Cup title. A dandy performance by Damon led to MVP honors and his second Grey Cup in Edmonton. Now he is the leader of the Lions, and Allen has his sights set on leading the Leos to their first Grey Cup since '94. That was the year McManus was the man in BC. And the Lions were the kings of the CFL jungle, winning their third Grey Cup. Now McManus leads the Eskimos attack and has his sights set on a return to the Grey Cup, where they fell oh so short a year ago. So it's Trading Places, Part 2. Damon and Danny. It should be a dandy. Next. From Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton, it's the BC Lions and the Edmonton Eskimos on CFL Live. Stay by your set and get on the internet, because we are live and interactive here at TSN. You can play QB1 throughout this game. Hi, welcome again to CFL Live. I'm Rod Smith. Yes, back to the Wild West, where 4 games so far have been decided by just 9 points. Joined as usual, the panel: Bob Obilovich, Les Brown, Marty York of the Globe and Mail. Edmonton Eskimos are back home after winning 2 on the road, and the BC Lions are going to have a tougher time because of some changes once again defensively. Damian Lyons, a defensive back, injured and out. So too is Johnny Scott, the Defensive Player of the Week, for what he did against the Calgary Stampeders last week. Obi, you see a positive spin, though, in the absence of Johnny Scott?
Well, I think that Joe Fleming will move inside the tackle, and I think that's his best position. They've been playing him at end, so Brooks Finley's going to move in at the end spot, and I think that's where the concern's going to be. I think Fleming will be fine at tackle, but I don't know how well Brooks Finley's going to play. Well, as for Damon Allen, the Lions quarterback, last we've seen him in the past, maybe when he's at his best, when he's running the football. He's got away from that a little bit, and you'd like to see him get back to that to have more success.
I remember a time when Damon Allen and Tracy Ham were almost like clones, or very similar in their styles of controlling their offenses. Maybe that's why they're so close in the quarterback all-purpose yards, category or whatever. But you know what? Tracy Ham has chose to go back to that old form that got him famous. And Damon Allen, ever since he went down to the American teams, has chose to come back and be one of those sit-in-the-pocket type quarterbacks, They're used to scrambling and getting time for the receivers and scrambling and getting positive yards. That's not happening with Damon Allen this year. So the success tonight lies on what Damon Allen chooses to do or not do.
Well, Damon Allen, Marty, has had some good days at Commonwealth Stadium, and the Eskimos always seem to start the season off right at Commonwealth. Your picks tonight, I know you're 5-2 heading in. Who do you like and what's the spread?
Well, Rod, Las Vegas is favoring the Eskimos by 8 points tonight. I like the favorite. I think they're good in these home openers. Did you guys realize that they have won their last 14 home openers in a row?
Yes,
They've also owned the Lions in recent years. They've won 8 of their past 10 games against the Lions. And I think the Lions will be missing those 2 key defensive players. And, I like the way Danny McManus has been playing this year. He's finally playing the consistent type of quarterback that I thought he could do in the past. Of course, now he'll go out and blow out this game, and it'll look awful. But
we're converting you, Marty. Slowly.
I'm saying take the Eskimos and lay the points.
Hey, Marty, I'm always sure of you. You know about that. Well, listen, the Eskimos have had so much success in that first game of the season at Commonwealth. This year especially, as Ron Lancaster put it, it's the final game of the season of Commonwealth that matters. That's the Grey Cup. The Eskimos hope to be there. Long way to go, however. Let's head out for the kickoff now to Commonwealth Stadium we go and join Gord Miller and Glenn Suter. Guys.
Right on cue, the rain has begun to fall here at Commonwealth Stadium. It is pouring here on this Thursday evening, getting set for week number 3 of the game between the Edmonton Eskimos and the BC Lions. The temperature pretty warm, but it's been raining on and off throughout the day. 17 degrees today. Not much wind, but the rain has begun to fall, and this natural grass surface, the only one in the Canadian Football League, will be sloppy by the end of the night. Adam Rita's team is 1-1, coming off a last-minute win over the Saskatchewan Roughriders 1 week ago, and he won the Grey Cup here as the offensive coordinator with the Edmonton Eskimos in 1993. On the other side is the Edmonton Eskimos' all-time winningest head coach, Ron Lancaster, who picked up his 73rd victory last week back at Taylor Field in Regina.
Let's go, lads. Let's get it started.
The Edmonton Eskimos have won 13 consecutive home openers. And they've won 5 straight games against the BC Lions. And just as Sean Fleming gets set to kick it off, the rain has really started to fall here at Commonwealth Stadium. Corey Philpott and Al Shipman are back deep to receive, but Glenn, the rain should be a big factor tonight.
It will be, and this is where the TSN turning point could be the shoes you pick. Because somehow Edmonton never slips in these conditions, and the visiting team always does.
Fleming kicks it off. This is Al Shipman from the 15-yard line. Flags are down. Shipman breaks out to the left side, forced out of bounds at the 36. He's pushed out there by Patrice Denny, a 60-yard kickoff, a return of 21 yards for Al Shipman, the CFL's leader in kickoff return yards through 2 weeks. But there is a flag on the play, and Ken Lazaruk, tonight's referee, will get his first chance to arbitrate the proceedings, as it were. And the penalty appears to be against the Edmonton Eskimos.
Giving Damon Allen the option to take the kick over again or take the field position.
So let me get this straight. We can stand here in the rain a little while longer.
Legal use of hands. Edmonton number 38, free kick.
They're going to do it over again.
Holding the call against the Eskimos.
And the Eskimos will be moved back. So Sean Fleming will have to do it over again. Errol Martin was the man flagged for holding. And with 36-man rosters, you don't get much of a chance for a rest. Almost everyone plays on a special team now.
That's right. The school of thought there is make them kick over because they just did about a 40-50-yard wind sprint. They're a little tired. Maybe you get to see them on the second time around.
Now Sean Fleming moved back to the 25-yard line. In the pouring rain at Commonwealth Stadium, Sean Fleming to kick it off. Al Shipman now at the 27-yard line. Shipman looking for a seam, gets out across the 40 to the 41. A flag comes down near the end of the return. It's a 53-yard kickoff, a return of 15 for Al Shipman. But we've got an early flag problem, and that may be negated. Penalty is against the BC Lions, so they'll wind up right back at about the 35-yard line, maybe a little further back.
Holding, BC, number 11, first down.
Maurice Kelly is called for holding. The penalty moved the Lions back to their own 27-yard line. Now keeping the football dry and keeping hands dry, a problem for the Lions, who of course play in the great indoors.
Yeah, they don't have to ever deal with conditions when they have a home game, but who fumbles the ball the least could be a factor today.
BC Lions lead the league, by the way. They fumbled the ball 8 times in 2 weeks. The give goes off on first down to fullback Sean Millington, and Millington barrels through the middle of the line out to the 37-yard line. Damon Allen, of course, began his career with the Edmonton Eskimos in the mid-1980s and has been the Grey Cup MVP twice in Edmonton Eskimo championship seasons, 1987 and 1993.
Last year, of course, only played 14 games for BC, joined them late. What was the completing about 60% of his passes.
Millington a gain of close to 10 yards, a measurement required, and it's 9 and change. It'll bring up second and short for the BC Lions.
And offenses love this scenario because second and short now they can have a waste down. So all that really means is that they can go up top if they want, knowing that on third down, not too far to gamble on that quarterback sneak.
Short yardage offense, though, has been a problem for the BC Lions, particularly in their Week 1 comeback win over Saskatchewan. It was a major issue.
Absolutely, and it's even more of a bigger problem when you have Benny Goods, Derek McCready, Marvin Hunter, and Leroy Blue on the other side of the line.
Check that Week 1 loss.
Yeah.
Now 2nd and inches for Allen and the short yardage offense. 3 in the backfield. Corey Philpott at the tailback position. Flags are down. Allen rolling out. Got a big block from Jamie Terrace. Another flag comes down. Derek Beatty finally forces Allen out of bounds, but 2 flags on this play, and the Eskimos indicating quickly that at least one of them is against the BC Lions.
Well, that was the waist down. Damon Allen wanted to put the ball up and throw it. They're marching off right now against the Lions, and Bruce Dixon's over talking to the officials.
Well, the BC Lions had the ball as far as their own 45-yard line on the kickoff return, but penalties now moving them back. And here's the call from Ken Lazarus.
Holding. BC, number 25. After the first down even gained. First down, BC.
So you lose 10 yards, but you get the first down. And Sean Millington is the man called for holding.
Sean Millington right there on your screen, working on Tommy Henry. He's got his hands up on the shoulder pads, and as Damon Allen tries to get out, there's the grab right there.
So the Lions get the first down, but move back to their own 29-yard line. From the shotgun, shovel pass ahead to Millington. All kinds of room for Sean Millington, who barrels out across the 50 to the 51-yard line. Leroy Blue thought he had Damon Allen dead to rights and then realized, uh-oh, shovel pass.
It's almost like a reverse option. You know, usually quarterbacks will take it and pitch it backwards, but in this case, he options Leroy Blue, pitches it forward to Sean Millington. Now, if that ball is dropped, it's considered an incomplete pass. So Adam Rita likes it better because it's safer.
A 21-yard gain for Sean Millington. The Lions out to their own 51. Pressure, gets away. Now swings it out of the backfield for Millington. One-on-one with Willie Plesh. Millington gets past Plesh and gets into Edmonton territory down to the 37-yard line. Sean Millington with a great one-on-one move on the 4-time Defensive Player of the Year.
You know, I am a little surprised at how much Adam Rita is using Sean Millington in the offense right now. Coming into this game, he had only made 3 catches for 22 yards and only run the ball 4 times, and on this drive alone he's touched the ball about 4 times and very successful with it, as you see him picking up the yardage here.
A gain of 22 and another first down for the BC Lions. Allen again from the shotgun, quickly throws underneath. This is complete to Al Shipman, and Shipman close to another first down as he fights his way down to the 28-yard line. Finally forced out of bounds there by middle linebacker Bruce Dixon. And getting Al Shipman involved in the offense, something Adam Rita's been talking about for 3 weeks now. 5 receptions for 59 yards and a touchdown for this man. Only 23 years old, already in his 3rd year in the league.
Yeah, he's leading the league right now in all-purpose yardage with 439. He only has 59 of those yards receiving. So Adam Rita can see what he does on punt and kick returns and wants to throw him the ball as well.
Shipman comes up just inches short of a BC first down. The Lions putting together a very impressive opening drive here in the rain on the grass at Commonwealth Stadium. You wouldn't think this would be their cup of tea.
Well, especially the way they're using Sean Millington. I mean, a fullback in Adam Rita's offense is not used very often. He likes the speed, he likes to spread things out, and right now Sean Millington has been featured in this drive.
Interesting to talk to some of the Lions, though. They did say that rainy weather would make them feel right at home. It's been a very wet spring and early summer in Vancouver.
We don't tan there, we rust in Vancouver.
Yes, you too speak from experience. 2nd and inches for the Lions. Allen takes it straight ahead, and after a slow start, David Allen has the first down, and the drive continues for the BC Lions. 12:20 to play in the opening quarter. And the BC Lions doing a very impressive job moving the ball against an Edmonton defense that came into this game having allowed the fewest points through week 2, tied for the league lead with sacks, and had allowed only 1 passing touchdown in 2 games.
I'll tell you where they have slipped a little bit on defense, Gord, though, is in stopping the run. Last year, they were second in the league, only allowing 88 yards a game. This year, it's up to 138.
Allen from the shotgun again. Slips. Now he's in all kinds of trouble. Finds Shipman at the sidelines, and Shipman forced out of bounds at the 19-yard line. Damon Allen makes something out of nothing.
Really did, because he slipped, and once he slipped, he took his eyes off the receiver. See when he goes down. Now, he's reading the defense right now. Now he goes down, not sure where anyone is, so his first thought is to take off running. But when you see Bruce Dixon bearing down on you, you might have changed that opinion and throw it out there, and that's exactly what Allen does.
And again, on a short yardage situation for the BC Lions, the big people check in. Backup fullback Brad Yamoka comes in. Sean Millington, Corey Philpott in the backfield. Some extra help on the outside of the offensive line. They'll bring in Wayne Drinkwalter, a defensive lineman, to play tight end.
I was talking to Wayne Drinkwalter. He says, we do have a pass in the playbook.
Flags are down. This is the fullback Yamoka who comes out, and Brad Yamoka, a 3rd-round pick this year in the draft, out of UBC, dives ahead for the first down, but a flag is down.
Pretty excited about Brad Yamoka. You know, he was coming into this game, led the Lions in special teams tackles.
And it's against BC.
Holding. BC, number 65. 2nd down repeater.
Center Chuck Bradley is called for holding. That will not only negate the first down, it'll bring up 2nd and 13 for the Lions. And the ball is moved all the way back to the Edmonton 28-yard line. One problem for the BC Lions, the 2nd most penalized team in the league this year.
Adam Rita wants to change that. Discipline. That's all that is. A lot of undisciplined penalties.
Now 2nd and long. Allen, quick drop. Has a man, and he can't hang on. Larry Thompson was open, but the ball bounced off his pads. It'll bring up 3rd down, and a good drive for the BC Lions will end in a field goal attempt by Lou Pasaglia.
Damon Allen cannot read it or throw it better than this. He looks off the safety and the halfback on that side of the play and throws it right on the hands for Larry Thompson and straight out drops it. And when that happens, your quarterback delivers a strike to keep the drive going, and he sees his receiver drop one. Not going to be too happy about it, and we'll probably go over and have a few words for his receiver.
Now Lou Pasaglia from the 36 hasn't missed yet this year. He's 4 for 4. Whoops. Henry Williams will give up the single point.
You jinxed him.
Did it again. Pasaglia misses for the first time. The Lions get 1 and lead early in the 4th quarter.
The CFL Live on TSN is brought to you by Advantage, providing solutions for business. And by Gatorade. Life is a sport. Drink it up.
Back at Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton. First offensive play for the Edmonton Eskimos. Eric Blunt fumble. Scooped up by Virgil Robertson. Touchdown, BC. A 21-yard fumble return for a touchdown, and the BC Lions, with the point after to come, have a 7-0 lead, and the Edmonton Eskimo offense allows a touchdown for the 2nd week in a row.
Well, Tyrone Chapman was coming on the stunt from the linebacker position and was in the backfield before Eric Blunt had a chance. You see 56 right in the middle of your screen. He never had a handle on that football, and then Virgil Robertson scoops it up and looks like a running back taking it to the end zone.
The first play from scrimmage for the Edmonton Eskimo offense sees Virgil Robertson scoop it up and score his 3rd career CFL touchdown.
Is that... Are we sure on that one? 3 touchdowns for Virgil Robertson?
That is Virgil Robertson's 3rd
Wow.
CFL touchdown. Lou Pasaglia with the point after, and Glenn, We asked Danny McManus about it last week against Saskatchewan. He throws an early interception that gets lateral to return for a touchdown. And he said, well, sometimes there's nothing you can do, but Virgil Robertson scored a touchdown in 1994 and one in 1996.
There it is. He's got a nose for the ball, and I tell you what, Danny McManus certainly doesn't want to have to make tackles in a football game, but he tried to here on Virgil Robertson.
Well.
And that's what you call doing it for the game tape later. So that when it's like, well, I made an effort, I sort of dove.
And maybe the angle looks better, so, you know. Wow. What a start for the Eskimo offense. One play, a touchdown against.
And you couldn't tell by looking at him. Yeah, it'll just, like the rain right here in Commonwealth, it'll just roll off his back. He'll be back out next series.
And now the BC Lions to kick it off. So the Lions had an impressive opening drive, weren't able to get more than a single, but their defense chips in. And now Eric Blunt goes back to take the kickoff, along with the Gizmo, Henry Williams, playing his 150th game. Here comes the Gizmo. And helmet to helmet, he's brought down from 30-yard line by former teammate Don Wilson. A 22-yard kickoff return. So 32-year-old Danny McManus will bring the offense back onto the field and see if they can bite into this BC Lion lead. He is joined in the offensive backfield by Burson Blunt at the running back position. Brown, Flutie, Blair, and Gordon, maybe the best set of receivers in the Canadian Football League. The offensive line anchored by Rod Connup, playing in his 259th game today. McManus over the middle has Darren Flutie. And Flutie up and over Don Wilson, who upset Darren Flutie after a pickup of 7 out to the 37-yard line.
Well, Darren Flutie's leading the league in receiving so far with 222 yards in reception so far in the season. He's on the same page, has been all year. Here he is right here. He's just going to work across the middle, and Don Wilson's going to make the tackle all the way on the other side of the field. That's just throwing it underneath the zone, and you know that they'll hook up a lot tonight.
All kinds of early movement, no flags. Blunt fumbles again. And it appears the Lions have it once more. Tyrone Chapman all over the football. Eric Blunt has 2 carries and 2 fumbles. And the Lions have the ball back.
Tyrone Chapman, big part of both plays, caused the fumble the first time, and this time recovers it, as it doesn't seem like Eric Blunt has really got the handle on either play.
8:59 to play in the first quarter. The BC Lions have an 8-0 lead and the ball.
They had a jet outside, but then I had Chris.
Well, we wondered how the rain would affect the BC Lions. The problem has been Edmonton's Eric Blunt. 2 carries, 2 fumbles. The first one led to a touchdown by Virgil Robertson. The second gives the Lions the ball at the Edmonton 32-yard line.
Yeah, and on the first play, Gord, Tyrone Chapman was in the backfield. Here he is right here. Here's Eric Blunt. Now, as this develops, I want you to take a look at the head of Eric Blunt. Look, he's looking right to Chapman and never looks at the ball, so he never saw the pitch coming to him. You think maybe the play before where Tyrone Chapman hit him in the backfield got him thinking about number 56, and he looked up to peek where he was and didn't see the ball coming.
Now the Lions with a real chance to open up a wide lead here, leading 8-0, 1st and 10 at the Edmonton 32. Allen, quarterback draw. Lots of room, hit from behind. Allen gets down to the 22-yard line, very close to another BC first down, and the quarterback draw has become a staple of almost every team's playbook.
Adam Rita wants Damon Allen to run the football more. In this first 2 games, he hasn't run it enough. He wants Damon Allen to come up with at least 100 yards a game rushing. He feels that when he's running the ball, he's at his best, and I would tend to agree with that.
Picked up 8 that time, and that's his rushing average per carry so far this season. Now from the shotgun. Looks like a broken play. Allen swings it out of the backfield. That's a lateral. Sean Millington pushes out of bounds. That pass went backwards. As a result, it's a lateral and a loss of 6 yards. But this was a busted play from the get-go.
Yeah, it was a busted play. I think Damon Allen wanted to hit Sean Millington early. He looks to him right there, but he was covered. So then he tries to think about scrambling. Sean Millington becomes uncovered. But you were right, Gord. That ball was thrown backwards, and that's a live football. Sean Millington heads up to knock that one out of bounds.
Well, now Lou Pasaglia comes back out. This time to try it from 37 yards out. He missed his first field goal of the season earlier in the quarter. And it is really, really pouring now. Julio Caravana with the hold. Pasaglia puts it up, and it is good. The Lions have 10 points off 2 Edmonton fumbles and an 11-0 lead halfway through the opening quarter. And the Edmonton Eskimo offense will come back on the field after, what, 3 plays in this football game they've run?
3 plays, 2 of them bad for the Edmonton Eskimos, and both times really Eric Blunt never ever got the football cleanly. Not Danny McManus' fault at all. Eric Blunt just has to concentrate a little more at the handoff point or when he's going to catch a pitch. Make sure he secures the ball, especially in these kind of conditions.
Well, the Eskimos will be happy to get off the field without BC scoring any points against their offense. As you can see, it is really coming down here now. And this field, which is scratchy at best right now after a U2 concert earlier this year, really chewed it up. And it'll be a quagmire by the fourth quarter. It drains very well here, but it does get slippery late in the game.
Absolutely, and it seemed to me that it was always Edmonton that could somehow take advantage of that. We watched game tape afterwards of how Edmonton would beat you, and you'd be slipping and sliding all over the place, and somehow they could. They weren't. But so far, it's been the BC Lions' advantage, these conditions here at Commonwealth.
And Ron Lancaster talking to equipment manager Dwayne Mandrusiak perhaps about that very subject.
Exactly. He's saying, now, does everyone have the right type of cleats on? Because this is going to get wet, the field's going to get sloppy. And Ron Lancaster is involved in every aspect of this team, probably including picking the shoes for the players.
Return policy anywhere greater than including the airport. It's discount car front rental all the way.
Lancaster talking over to his guys in the sidelines, and you can see they've got the big 3/4-inch cleats on for this one.
And you can see with the tape on the shoes that a lot of players do, it's called the spat. If they pick the wrong shoes at the beginning of the game, they have to wait until halftime now to change them, because they don't have time on the sideline to cut off that tape.
First down for the 35. This is Tony Burst, the fullback fumble. Unbelievable. Danny McManus dives in, loose ball.
34, Tony Burst, the ball carrier.
And McManus appears to have gotten it back. The Edmonton Eskimos have fumbled the ball 3 times on 4 plays to open the football game.
And Tony Burrs is taking off his gloves, because in this kind of weather, when you're wearing leather gloves, it gets really slick, and he comes up in the hole, and it's not a huge hit, but I believe it was Tyrone Chapman again that had the arm on him, and that ball just squirts out of there, and Tony Burrs has got those gloves off now.
Wow. Now McManus setting up the screen. This is Burst, slips. And limited to a very little gain. Tyrone Chapman and Joe Fleming get there. Well, I'll tell you what, it looks like it's the Edmonton Eskimos who spend all their time playing indoors on plastic.
It really is, and this surprises me, Gord, because I have never seen this watching Edmonton play, either playing against them or in the 3 years I've been in the booth, because they always seem to take advantage of conditions at Commonwealth, but right now it's killing them.
Now Sean Fleming on to punt. Fleming has the CFL's worst punting average. 38 yards a kick, and his net average is 31.8 yards. Here comes the rush. They almost got it. Flag comes down as Fleming is knocked out. Now loose ball at the other end. Al Shipman falls on it. It appears the Edmonton Eskimos got it back, but there's a flag down there as well.
Well, the first flag will definitely be roughing the kicker, and I believe it was David Mieva who got that. Now, the second one will likely be no yards.
Jed Roberts got the football, but we got ourselves a predicament.
Well, Robert Holland's in there saying, I touched the football. If you're going for the block and touch the football, you can hit the kicker. If you don't touch it, you can't hit him.
Oh, and Holland has apparently been told that he did not contact the football. Robert Holland, by the way, has applied for the job as CFL commissioner. We told you the story about this last week, but he did say, though, that the first thing he'd do is get all the negativity out of the league. So he shouldn't argue the call.
Yeah, because there he is right there now. It's tough to tell whether or not he got his hand on the ball. And here's at the other end where Shipman fumbles it, and you can see when he went to get that football, there was 3 or 4 Edmonton Eskimo cover guys inside that 5-yard area.
No yard. Edmonton, number 28. Contact from the kicker. BC, number 22. Re-kick. 3rd down.
It's a bad break for Edmonton. Because either way, they get the ball back.
Well, watch Robert Holland. He's right here on your screen now. He's going to slice through there and be in the backfield on a little bit of a stunt now. Did he touch the football? I don't think so.
I don't think so, because that ball came out of there pretty clean.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Now Fleming will punt once again from his 10. That's a big break for the BC Lions. And you can see Sean Fleming trying to keep his hands dry. Al Shipman back there to receive the kick, along with Corey Philpott. This time they don't put the rush on. Good high kick by Fleming. This is Shipman from the 45. Another flag comes down. 2 more. Shipman gets out to midfield. There are 3 flags down on the play.
Yeah, and I think all 3 of them are going to be for no yards Edmonton again. When that ball, Shipman times it up pretty well and catches it in the air. And when you do that, you'll catch that cover team inside the 5-yard area.
38-yard punt by Fleming, return of 10. The Edmonton Eskimos enter this game as the least penalized team in the league. They may take the lead in penalties before the half is out.
Been a lot of flags so far in this game.
Adam Rita and the BC Lions enjoying an 11-0 lead, and the Edmonton Eskimos enjoying very little of this football game.
BC, number 17. 1st down.
Eddie Thomas got caught in the hole. Somewhere in that mix.
So the Edmonton Eskimos will now be moved back, or the BC Lions rather, be moved back to their own 33-yard line. What a football game.
First and 10 for the Lions. Ball
In the first quarter. And we've got 5 minutes to go yet. First down from the 33. Allen, lots of time. Underneath he goes, Alfred Jackson. And the pass ball's incomplete. Coverage provided there by Tommy Henry. Well, Damon Allen, 33 years old. So far this year, completing 62.7% of his passes. He's ranked 2nd in the league in passing, second only to Doug Flutie. He's joined by Alfred Jackson, Al Shipman, Mike Trevathan, and Larry Thompson. Sean Millington and Corey Philpott join him in the backfield. And this rebuilt offensive line includes Mo Elowanibi at left tackle. No gain, 2nd and 10 for the Lions. Allen steps up all day, had a man, but safety man Trent Brown got there and knocked it out of the hands of Larry Thompson. And Trent Brown and the Eskimo defense will leave the field after forcing the BC Lions 2-0.
Good team defense by the Edmonton Eskimos. Damon Allen really had no one to throw to. He wants to go underneath immediately, but there's coverage there, steps up in the pocket, can't find anything, and then just floats one out there that Trent Brown has an easy time knocking down.
Now the wind becoming more of a factor here. The wind blowing from left to right as you look at it, into the face of Luke Pasaglia as he's back to punt. Don Blair and Henry the Gizmo Williams back to receive. Low tumbling kick. This is Blair on the fly from the 50. Flags are down. And Blair up the sideline. He goes, hit late. And another flag comes down. And the Edmonton Eskimos are going to have tremendous field position as Don Blair was hit after he got out of bounds. The Eskimos already have the ball at about the 43-yard line, and they think it'll be inside the 30 by the time this is done.
I was going to say they're going straight to the red zone because it was definitely no yards immediately right by Frank Pimiskern at the beginning of the play, and then Brooks Finley is going to give Don Blair a push when he was 2 steps out of bounds for the late hit.
No yards.
See Pimiskern get caught inside the 5-yard zone.
Decline. Major foul. Unnecessary roughness. BC number 97. First down, Edmonton.
So give the Edmonton Eskimos the ball And a chance to get right back in it inside the 30-yard line. They'll go down about the 28. And a costly penalty by the BC Lions.
Well, the way Edmonton's offense has started tonight, this is the break they needed. A good return from Don Blair and a penalty to add on. And now he's got Danny McManus has some field position to work with and changes his whole play selection right now.
First down from the 28. Edmonton trailing 11-0. McManus, look out! Gets it away to Flutie. Almost. Don Wilson got back to get a hand on that, and Wilson playing defensive halfback for the first time in 5 years. Got that long arm out and just knocked that out of Flutie's hand.
Well, Andre Strode has been injured and out for the season, so Don Wilson has had to fill in at halfback. The last time he played, like you said, Gord, was in 1992, and Danny McManus had some pressure from Maurice Kelly coming off the edge there on the linebacker blitz. Just got rid of that one in time, but Don Wilson made up some ground, got his hand in there.
Second and 10. McManus, the other side, looking for Robert Gordon. He is in a major hand fight with Eddie Thomas. That pass falls incomplete. And Thomas, one of the 3 BC defensive backs who used to play in Edmonton, comes up with a big stop.
And when he was in Edmonton, he was a corner, so he's comfortable on the corner. And this is hand fighting between both Robert Gordon and Eddie Thomas. And it's a good no call by the official there, because that happens basically on every play between receiver and defensive back.
Now Sean Fleming, 2 for 5 on the year. He's having a tough year punting the football, and he's off to a slow start in the field goal department as well. This from 35 yards out. Jimmy Kemp is the holder. High snap. They get it down.
Hands, guys, hands.
Fleming gets it up, and good. The Edmonton Eskimos are on the board. Now down 11-3 with 3:38 to play in the opening quarter, and Sean Fleming is now 3 for 6.
Sean Fleming's had to deal with the punting duties this year, as you talked about, Gordon. It's not only that, he's also breaking in a new center in Mark Fairway, and Sean Fleming has to think about a few things now when he's got a new center and a new job.
Mentioned earlier, the Edmonton Eskimos have won the last 5 meetings between these two teams. Edmonton swept the series last year, winning twice at BC Place. Edmonton has also won 8 of the last 10 games played between these two teams. One thing, though, the BC Lions have had some success in the 90s in this stadium. The Lions are 5-5 with the Eskimos in the last 10 games played here at Commonwealth Stadium.
So this is the rubber match in Commonwealth. 5-5?
Yeah, I guess you're playing best out of 11. You play a lot of games of best out of 11.
Do you? Best of 11. And this is the rubber.
3.5 minutes to play in the opening quarter. Damon Allen back in the shotgun here on first down from the 35. Underneath they go. Sean Millington. Gets close to the 40-yard line before he's brought down to the play. Mike Sellers made the stop. Here's the Edmonton Eskimo defense that is, of course, anchored by Willie Pless, the 8-time CFL All-Star. The Eskimo front 7 led the Canadian Football League last year with 70 quarterback sacks. In the defensive backfield, look out for Cavis Reed, number 24, and Glenn Rogers, number 26. Each of them had 7 interceptions last year. And Cavis Reed last week returned an interception for a touchdown against Saskatchewan. Second and long. Now they try that shovel pass again. Stuffed quickly as jumping into the backfield and not giving the play any chance to develop was Melvin Hunter and Mike Sellers. And as a result, Damon Allen had nowhere to go. It's a loss of a yard.
Well, Mike Sellers plays it pretty well. He comes up and feathers it. That means he's going to take away the containment. Doesn't let Damon Allen outside, but he also isn't too deep, so he can come back. And Damon Allen really has no option but to eat that one. Mike Sellers will rotate into the lineup and keep Melvin Hunter, McCready, Goods, and Blue fresh.
Now Luke Pasaglia back to punt once more. The rain has eased off just a little bit, but it's still a pretty good drizzle here in Edmonton. Don Blair on the left, Henry Williams on the right.
Hands, guys.
This is Don Blair from the 35-yard line. Blair moves back and forth, but he's brought down quickly on the play by BC Steve Glenn. A 35-yard punt, a return of 4 as Glenn comes up with another special team stop. The first special teams play we've seen today, I think, without a penalty.
Yeah, and Steve Glenn has a couple of responsibilities. One, to snap it and make sure. Now, that sounds easy to say, but when you have Mike Sellers hitting you in the back of the neck, every snap, it makes it a little tougher. Then he has to cover as well and gets in on the tackle right there.
Limits the return to 4 yards, and the Edmonton Eskimos will go back to work. Under 2 minutes to play in the opening quarter. McManus gives it off to Eric Blunt. Flag comes down. Blunt gets out across the 45 to the 48 and gets a sarcastic round of applause from the fans as he does not fumble. And Eric Blunt has already coughed up the ball twice in this game.
Well, that's his 3rd attempt, I believe, and the first clean handoff between quarterback and running back.
And it's going back.
First down repeated.
And it's coming back.
Holding's the call against Vic Stevenson, and it'll come back.
63 is right here. Victor Stevenson
First and 20 now.
working on Joe Fleming, and a little bit of a takedown there. Good call.
Now 1st and 20 for the Edmonton Eskimos, who have not scored an offensive touchdown in almost 4 complete quarters now. Here comes the blitz from BC. McManus under pressure, gets it away, has Robert Gordon. And Gordon up to the 49-yard line, and the pickup of about 15 yards, make it 17. And a pretty good effort by Danny McManus to avoid the blitz.
Thomas made the stop for the Lions.
Well, I can't believe he stepped up in there. That's poise from your quarterback, because it was a team meeting back there. David Mieva, Tyrone Chapman, and Maurice Kelly were blitzing, and Danny McManus kept his poise, stepped up in the pocket, delivered a strike. It gets a little hairy in there when bodies are flying around. Just kind of sidearm that one out there.
Brings up 2nd and 3. Early movement. That should be a free first down. Blunt dragged down quickly by Joe Fleming. Lost a couple, but it looked like the left side of the BC defense was offside.
Yeah, I think it was Brooks Finley, the newcomer, playing in his first game. He replaces Johnny Scott on the roster and is playing off the edge. Came over from Saskatchewan, and Brooks Finley is the one, I believe, who was the first to cross the line of scrimmage before the ball was snapped.
BC, number 97. First down, Edmonton.
And the Edmonton Eskimos have their first down of the game.
That's Brooks Finley right there, number 97. You see him just jump across the line of scrimmage, and he's real excited to be back home. He's from Vancouver, but got to make sure he gets the snap count and watches the football.
Well, he's been flagged twice. He was also nailed for hitting Don Blair out of bounds. On first down, McManus pump fake. Nobody open, goes back to the other side. Pick Eddie Thomas. Eddie Thomas with the interception. And now trying to get around Eddie Brown. Flag comes down as it appeared Eddie Brown got him by the face mask. And the Edmonton Eskimos, with 2 fumbles and now an interception, have coughed up the ball 3 times. And at the end of Eddie Thomas's return, you could almost certainly add face masking.
Wow. Eddie Thomas was not on the roster in the opening game of the season for the BC Lions.
Major foul, face mask, Edmonton, number 4. First down, BC.
So Eddie Brown called for face masking, tack on 15 yards. The Lions will have the ball at the Edmonton 45-yard line.
Well, it's pretty good pressure on McManus early. Tries to pump fake, and it doesn't work to the play side, so he goes back to the other side, but really doesn't get anything on the football. And Eddie Thomas, who is comfortable, as we mentioned earlier, at the corner position, sitting right there and picks it off, and here comes the face mask right there.
Thanks. First down from the 45-yard line. Look out, nothing doing there. The Lions unable to get anything started as David Allen couldn't find anywhere to go, and now he and Vinny Goods have a conversation. The first quarter comes to an end, and not soon enough for the Edmonton Eskimos. 3 turnovers, one of them leading to a touchdown. BC with an 11-3 lead.
CFL Live at the Quarter is brought to you by Midas for new, longer-lasting carbon metallic brake pads.
Welcome to CFL Live at the Quarter. Rod Smith along with Obi, Les, and Marty. And yes, Edmonton's had all that success at home openers, and certainly Les playing in bad weather, but this time, bit of an exception. The Eskimos not looking too good there to start it off, hanging on to the football.
The home team definitely doesn't have home field advantage, not in this one. But there, you know, there's a little surprise here. BC does not play in that dome. I mean, they don't practice in that dome. They practice in Surrey, which is a grass field. And now they say if the weather's bad out there in Surrey, then it's just like this right here, so they probably are used to it. And they're showing it like they are tonight. They're holding on to the ball, and they're not slipping as much as Edmonton is.
You know what, Les? BC has another advantage in this game. We're seeing the two best quarterbacks in the Western Division, but Damon Allen can run the ball in this kind of weather, whereas Danny McManus cannot run very well. He's going to have to force passes, and he's going to end up throwing interceptions like he just did to Thomas.
And
I still think Edmonton will come back, though.
I think another area that you have to watch for is we've got two young rookies, long snappers in this game, and with this water coming down, the rain as it is, mistakes on special teams could be a big factor in the final outcome of this game.
Well, turnovers, yeah. Turnovers, special teams. Turnovers, definitely a big story so far in this football game. The most recent, of course, the interception by Eddie Thomas to give BC the ball to start the second quarter. Back to Commonwealth for Gord and Glenn.
Well, Rod, it really has been a story of mistakes and defense and special teams, you name it. Damon Allen on the last play of that quarter had nowhere to go on the quarterback draws. He ran right into Benny Goods.
Yeah, Benny Goods working on Jamie Terrace there and bought off that one. This is the interception to Eddie Thomas. You see him trying to go play side. It's covered there, so he comes back to the backside and doesn't get anything on it. Now Danny McManus wants to try and go make the tackle. He's a keener, right? Turns back and sees Brooks Finley and says, I think I'll just get out of the way.
I'm just a guy looking for a bus. Loss of 3 on that last sack. It's 2nd and 13. Allen over the middle. Corey Philpott has the catch. Working on another number 6, Reggie Pleasant. Philpott has the first down to the Edmonton 28-yard line. And Corey Philpott, who does not get the ball a lot as a receiver, has his 8th catch of the year.
And he's used in so many different ways in Adam Rita's offense. One is as a wide receiver, something that he's trying to get used to. He's used to being the tailback, but Adam Rita sees completions like that during this game. He's going to stay and keep him out there.
First down inside the 30. Shotgun. Allen, lots of time, and has it open underneath for Larry Thompson. And Thompson, another big collision down there as he goes helmet to helmet with Reggie Pleasant. Another first down as Thompson has his first catch.
Damon Allen has to deal with a little bit of pressure from Malvin Hunter, who's off to another great season, has 3 sacks and is tied for the league lead in that category. And of course, last year was all Canadian with 14 sacks.
Pickup of 11. The Lions go to the hurry up now. 1st and 10 from the 18-yard line. Handoff goes to Sean Millington. Trying the right side, tripped up. Nice defensive play by Glenn Rogers to get in there and knock down Sean Millington. And it's a loss of a yard of the play.
Every now and then, defensive back is asked to come up and run support, and Glenn Rogers does a pretty nice job of it here. Sean Millington has to bubble because Derek McCready has got some penetration, but as soon as Glenn Rogers read run, he flew up in there and threw that head in there.
Well, the rain has really tapered off now to nothing more than a slight drizzle. So perhaps players from both sides can hang on to the ball now. 2nd down. Allen from the shotgun. Quarterback draw. Look out. Down he goes. What a play by middle linebacker Bruce Dixon. David Allen threw every fake he knew at him, and Dixon just stayed with him and made the stop.
And that really is a great play by Bruce Dixon, because he's going to slide over in the zone, and when you're in the open field with Damon Allen, that is like nowhere. It's like you're on an island, and Bruce Dixon somehow gets him down. And tell you what, that's way tougher than it looked right there. I've been in that situation with me, Damon Allen, a whole bunch of field on both sides, and it's a scary feeling, let me tell you.
Now Lupasaglia to try the field goal from 27 yards out. The Eskimos have made 3 turnovers, but the Lions haven't really made them pay. Lupasaglia puts it up, and good. The Lions get 3 from the Eddie Thomas interception. Now have a 14-3 lead on Edmonton.
Tonight's fan stand
Here are the numbers through the first 15 minutes, brought to you by Midas. Well, a total of 5 first downs. The Edmonton Eskimos have -8 yards rushing and 3 turnovers. That's the bad news for Edmonton. The good news is it's only 14-3. You know what? If the Lions had killer instinct, the chance to put someone away, this game could be like 28-0.
Well, with those 3 turnovers, you got to think that you, as an offensive unit, Damon Allen and Adam Rita want 21 points out of that. All they've been able to get is 14. So you're right, Gord. That could come back to haunt the BC Lions somewhere later in this football game.
Now the Eskimos will start at their own 35-yard line, and
Millington, leading receiver for BC, which is a little surprising to see.
And the Edmonton Eskimos, their own worst enemy so far in the football game. Statue of Liberty. Robert Gordon takes the toss, and he goes almost nowhere. Brooks Findlay comes up quickly to help make the stop. A loss of 3. Is that the Statue of Liberty or just a version of it?
That's a version of it, because he's gonna kind of toss it to Robert Gordon and come to the outside. In the Statue of Liberty, you sort of hand it to the running back coming around the outside, but it's close.
Loss of a couple. It's now 2nd and 12. And Danny McManus to the shotgun. Here comes the rush. McManus steps in, and a bullet picked off by Don Wilson. Don Wilson almost caught that out of self-defense.
You're right. We could hear it in his shoulder pads all the way up here. I mean, Danny McManus threw it hard in there, but he thought that Don Blair was going to continue to work across the middle of the field, and he didn't. Don Blair stopped. Now, we talked about McManus being on the same page with Darren Flutie. He certainly wasn't with Blair.
Wow.
You see number 20 stop, and that's why Don Wilson was sitting right there. And McManus is thinking, now my receiver's going to work into the middle. I'll anticipate that and throw it in front of him. And then when he stopped, he's going, oh, I got to make another tackle. Where are those defensive linemen?
Wow. 4 turnovers by the Edmonton Eskimos. And 13 points so far for the Lions. They give it up to Sean Millington. And Derek McCready comes up to make the quick stop. I'll tell you what, I can't think of seeing the Edmonton Eskimos play worse at home than this in a long time.
No, I agree with you. And Danny McManus, type of guy he is, will shake this off and come back. But you're right, Gord. I haven't seen a start like this for Edmonton in, well, I don't think I ever have. I can't think of one off the top of my head.
And if you're the BC Lions, you better take advantage now.
You better.
2nd and 10 for the Lions from the 45-yard line. Play action. Look out. Here comes everybody. Screen pass Millington. And Millington's got nothing but room. Inside the 20. Down to the 15. It takes 3 Edmonton Eskimo players to bring him down. Reggie Pleasant was there. And a whole bunch of others. A 29-yard gain for Sean Millington, who's got 3 catches for 72 yards in the game.
Millington's at the right of your screen. He's going to half block Leroy Blue and then just slide out of there on the screen pass. And Adam Rita must have seen something on the game tapes with these Edmonton Eskimos. You know, defensively, they have not been game planning for Sean Millington. They've been looking at Shipman, and they've been looking at Corey Philpott, and Millington's been the guy so far for BC.
Now they fake to Millington. Allen, all kinds of time to the corner of the end zone. Nobody there. And that ball, I don't think will be used again tonight. It landed in a gigantic puddle. Yeah, just throw that one away. It'll weigh about 30 pounds. So Damon Allen and Larry Thompson appeared to miscommunicate there.
Well, you know what? I think Damon Allen threw that one away, and that's the case of Leroy Blue covering a receiver, because he was so well contained that he had to throw that away.
And you see on Damon Allen's throwing hand, on his right hand, he's got that bandage on there. 2nd day of training camp, he was playing catch, and he hurt a tendon on that 3rd finger. But he's still playing. Sinks it in there. Trevathan right down the 1. And I asked Damon Allen before the game, is it effective throwing? He says, not a bit. And there's evidence right there.
Mike Trevathan comes out of the backfield and has got a full run here to get into the zone defense of the Edmonton Eskimos. You see him to the left of your screen. He's got a full run, just going to cut across the face of Trent Brown. Now, Trent Brown's got the middle of the field, but he waited too long to break up on Trevathan, and Trevathan got the angle on him.
So Trevathan all the way down to the 1. The Lions have it 1st and goal, a chance to go ahead 21-3 in Edmonton. Takes it across. His second rushing touchdown of the year, and they're booing in Edmonton.
Well, they talked about taking advantage of turnovers for the Edmonton Eskimos, and finally, if you're a BC Lions fan, you've got something to cheer about in that respect, because Damon Allen punches it over. It was sort of a delayed reaction as he keeps fighting and squirming to get that extra yard. He's going over the right side. That's Corey Mantika and Todd Furtick on the right side of that offensive line. And you see that ball right there, just break the plane.
I'll tell you what, if this was a hockey game, Ron Lancaster would call timeout. Now Busaglia for the point after. This to make it 21-3, and the Eskimos jump all over the place. Wow. After tough wins in Calgary and in Saskatchewan, the Eskimos come home, but it's the BC Lions who are smiling at Commonwealth Stadium.
Well, Ron Lancaster's got some things to think about now. He tried 2 handoffs early to Eric Blunt, and they fumbled both. Then Danny McManus threw 2 interceptions. You know, there's not really many other choices. You either run the ball or throw it.
Yeah, unless somebody comes up with something we haven't heard about, that's about it.
Basically it. So Ron Lancaster's trying to figure out what he's going to do.
Procedure, BC, number 60.
Jamie Terrace is called for procedure on the point after, which will make this, well, a little more interesting from the 17-yard line.
Kickers probably like to have that little more room. Actually,
I still say the guy that scores the touchdown should have to kick the point after. Busaglia puts it through. The BC Lions have 21 points, 20 of them off Edmonton turnovers. Back to Commonwealth Stadium right after this. Look at the Eskimo coaches over here. They're just like, oh, yeah. Julio to kick it off.
An Eskimo souvenir product, brand new for 1997, is on full display at the Eskimo team store in the southeast end of concourse of section Q.
Julio Caravana to kick it off for the BC Lions, who have a 21-3 lead on the Edmonton Eskimos at Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton's home opener. Henry Williams and Eric Blunt back deep to receive this kickoff, and the Eskimos a little shell-shocked at this point. From the 25, this is the Gizmo. Out across the 45 he goes. A 50-yard kickoff, a return of 20. This is what the Eskimos have done on their first 6 possessions. Well, first one on the first play they fumbled. Then they fumbled on the second play. Then they punted after 2 plays. Then they got a field goal. Then they went 4 plays to an interception, then 2 plays to an interception. Basically what you do with the offensive game film is you take it and you throw it out.
So you're the offensive coordinator right now. What play do you call?
Kneel down.
Get the defense out there. Maybe they can score a point.
Kneel down twice and try to get off the field. McManus rolling out now. Look out! Down he goes. Joe Fleming had him absolutely targeted. And McManus just moved at the last second, or they'd still be picking him up off the turf.
The Edmonton Eskimos know a little bit about Joe Fleming in the preseason. He had 5 sacks in 1 game versus Edmonton, and this is his first in the regular season versus Danny McManus and the Eskimos, and McManus had nowhere to throw.
Well, at least it's not raining anymore.
And they didn't fumble, so there's always a silver lining.
You really are a glasses half full kind of guy, aren't you? You really are one of those kinds of guys. Second and a bundle. McManus over the middle. And Darren Flutie took a late shot there from Robert Hall, and the pass ball is incomplete. 2 and out for the Eskimo offense.
We talked about Damon Allen with the sore finger. Danny McManus also hurt his finger last week versus Saskatchewan, and he didn't look like he got much on that football, but look at the numbers. Oof, yikes.
This is turning into a Hitchcock movie.
3rd and 16.
Sean Fleming to punt. Al Shipman's back there to return it, along with Andrew English, number 80.
Hands, gentlemen, hands, hands.
Here's Shipman from the 35-yard line. Trying to get outside, can't get anywhere, and quickly brought down the play after a 36-yard punt by Mike Sellers. There is no return. And there might finally be something to cheer about for the Edmonton Eskimos, but don't look now. The BC Lions are going back to work with 7 minutes left to go in the first half and enjoying an 18-point lead.
And Damon Allen really has a good game plan for this one, using Sean Millington a lot. You see his numbers, 8 for 12. A lot of those 8 completions, low percentage passes, nice dump passes to Millington, or quick passes to Corey Philpott out of the backfield. He really hasn't had to throw it down the field that often.
Look out, flags fly, and the whistle goes, and Benny Goods gets into it now, into a shoving match with Corey Mantika. And, ooh, that'll be a rumble. Mantika 6'5", 275, and Benny 6'3", 255.
Corey Mantika just...
Legal procedure, BC, number 64, still first down.
Mo Elowanibi is called, and look at Mo. I mean, Mo Elowanibi played in the NFL. Look at him, he's puny.
He's a little guy.
They call him tiny out there.
6'4", 286, and he's the little guy.
What are you? You're 286. What are you, the kicker?
Yikes. That's got to be the biggest in the league.
Lots of 5, 1st and 15. Allen steps up. Look out. Flag comes down late. Reggie Pleasant working on Corey Philpott, and it looked like Pleasant bumped him before the ball got there.
You know, I think he did bump him, but I'm going to go with the fans here in Edmonton, because when you break on the football and your hands and eyes are looking straight at the football, you have equal right to that football as the receiver does. And yes, there might have been a little bit of contact in there, but I mean,
Forward pass interference, Edmonton, number 6, non-delivered, first down, 10.
Penalties, turnovers, mistakes. Wow.
And Reggie Pleasant just saying the same thing. Am I not allowed to go for the football? Because I was. He bumped me when I was going. I had a better shot than Corey Philpott did.
6th penalty of the game for Edmonton, 15th overall. Now Allen, look out, has a man, Alfred Jackson. He's tied up by Reggie Pleasant. And I don't think any official in the world would call pass interference twice on the same guy in 2 plays, but Jackson was pleading his case nonetheless.
Jim Sandusky thinks Alfred Jackson may be the leading receiver in the league this year if he can stay healthy. He's a great athlete. He's tall and runs good patterns, but this time, Reggie Pleasant, and with a little help from Trent Brown, had him bracketed.
Pleasant still steaming from that penalty on the play before. Now it's 2nd and 10 for the Lions from their 40. From the shotgun. Over the middle they go. The pass is tipped up in the air, looking there for Trevathan, and it falls incomplete as safety Trent Brown was there looking for the ball.
Well, Tommy Henry from the linebacking spot moved up and covered Trevathan. That's how Edmonton is going to do it. So Tommy Henry playing linebacker, but he's more of a defensive back, and that's what he's been in his career. And when BC goes to 3 receivers like they did there, you see 13's going to run with the 3rd receiver, which was Mike Trevathan.
And I think the Edmonton Eskimos are going to look to shake things up a little bit. Lou Pasaglia kicks it away. This is the gizmo from the 20. Henry Williams, here he goes. Still going, lost the football. Frank Pimisker jumps on it for the BC Lions. The 5th turnover of the game by the Edmonton Eskimos. The Lions have the lead. Well, the litany of woes continues for the Edmonton Eskimos. A good return by Henry Williams falls apart at the end when he loses the football.
Well, I was excited about the fact that he may be giving his team a little bit of a spark and maybe some momentum back, because he breaks up in there and breaks a couple of tackles. But here comes the ball right now. Andrew English gets it out of there as he tries to tackle him from behind. And you think he's a little upset with himself? If you can read lips, look away.
Oh. Not pleased one bit. Now the Lions get the ball right back at their own 52-yard line. 5:12 to play. They lead by 18.
5 turnovers, though. It could be a lot worse than it is. A little bit of credit has to go to this Edmonton defense. It's really been on the field for the whole game so far.
And now the Lions really need to take advantage. Corey Philpott to carry. ran right over Penny Goods, gets across midfield into Edmonton territory at the 54-yard line. And on the Edmonton bench, Jimmy Kemp warming up. Looked to me like he was going to come into the game after the Williams return, but of course the fumble put that on hold. But I think we'll see Jimmy Kemp when Edmonton does get the ball back.
And this may be one of the situations where Ron Lancaster just wants to shake things up, maybe one series, maybe two series. Now, if Kemp has some success, he stays in the game. If not, McManus can watch from the sideline a little bit and then maybe go in the second half.
Allen, lots of time over the middle, in behind Alfred Jackson. And the Lions, unable to take advantage, will now be forced to punt with 4:14 to play. Here's the first half.
Sorry, Gord. Here's what I talked about with the matchups that the Edmonton Eskimos are trying to find. Tommy Henry right here, Jackson right here. Tommy Henry's taken the third receiver. Alfred Jackson is him. Now he's going to cut across, and Tommy Henry's a defensive back and is right there with him. Damon Allen just threw that one a little bit behind his receiver.
So Gizmo will get another shot. He's on the right, Don Blair on the left. Low snap to Bisaglia. Trying to angle it out of bounds. Gizmo from the 10. Here he goes again. Out to the 20-yard line. Finally brought down by BC's Steve Glenn. And as Williams makes his way off the field, Jimmy Kemp will make his way on to lead this Edmonton Eskimo offense. Kemp was the backup a year ago with the Saskatchewan Roughriders. He was 94 for 173 last year. He completed 54% of his passes last season, 6 touchdowns, but 10 interceptions. There was a time when he appeared to be the man who was the heir apparent to the Saskatchewan starting job. McManus, quick drop, and the pass is intercepted. Picked off by Eddie Thomas down to the 15-yard line. And the Edmonton Eskimos have turned the ball over for the 6th time in the first half, and Jimmy Kemp's second pass of the year is intercepted.
Unbelievable, and a ball he should never have thrown out there. Eddie Thomas had a blanket on Eddie Brown. I mean, there was nowhere to get that ball in. I think Eddie Thomas was as surprised as anyone that he threw this pass.
Wow. I did a game that Edmonton played here. I believe it was in '93 where they lost 52-14 to Winnipeg at home. That was this kind of day. But the Edmonton Eskimos are turning in a horrendous performance. Now Allen has his man Larry Thompson. Thompson, touchdown! And that time the Lions took advantage, and it took them only one play for Damon Allen and Larry Thompson to hook up on a 14-yard touchdown pass. And the man known as LT has his first touchdown catch of the year.
Pretty good run after the catch for Larry Thompson. He's the inside receiver on the backside of the play, and he has the choice to run an in or an out depending on what the defensive back gives him. You see to the left of your screen, he's going to come up. He comes out and decides to do the out pass because he sees Reggie Pleasantway to the inside and then breaks one tackle and breaks the plane with the football.
And like Paul Newman asked Robert Redford and Butch Cassidy of the Sundance Kid, Edmonton Eskimo fans are saying, who are these guys? Bisaglia puts the point after up and good. 2:59 to play in the first half. The Lions lead by 25. Welcome back to Edmonton, where the Eskimos may be out of options. Danny McManus goes to the bench after throwing 2 interceptions. Jimmy Kemp comes up and is picked off in his second pass. And Ron Lancaster kind of smiling, saying, wow.
Okay, guys, let's find the player where we throw it to our team.
Tell you what, Ronnie, suit up. Julio Caravana kicks it off. This is Henry Williams from the 12. Gizmo. Oh, big hit down there. And a big collision with B.J. Gallus after a 25-yard return. The last time the Edmonton Eskimos lost their home opener was July 15th, my mother's birthday, in 1983.
Well, happy birthday to Mom.
Yeah, that was Warren Moon against Dieter Brock. The Edmonton Eskimos haven't lost a home opener since.
Well, maybe 13 is an unlucky number.
You know who won the Grey Cup that year? 1983. Who won the Grey Cup in '83?
1983 would
BC
have been
Place. BC Place.
Winnipeg.
No.
Okay.
Toronto. Bobo Bilovich. Here goes Eric Blunt on the carry on first down up to the 39-yard line. That was the year the Toronto Argonauts were winners at BC Place over the BC Lions. Remember that game?
I do not recall that game right now, but I'm going to think about this one.
All right.
And I know you were disgusted in me.
Pick up a 6-yard, or pick up a 4 yards rather. Pick up 2nd and 6 or so as Lancaster and McManus try to pick up the pieces. 2.5 minutes to play in the first half. Kemp, he was hit as he threw the ball, but Eddie Brown has the catch. And listen to the fans here in Edmonton really giving it to the Eskimos. First down, and they get a sarcastic standing ovation from their fans.
Well, Kemp's going to take a hit as he throws the ball, and I'm a little surprised. You see right there, he gets hit from Joe Fleming, but I'm a little surprised he threw it over there. Eddie Thomas has 2 interceptions and intercepted his first pass, and he goes right after him again.
By the way, that's the first down the Eskimos have in this game that did not come by penalty. On first down, Kemp steps up, gets hammered, and Don Blair was the intended target, but 3 BC Lions were standing around him. Jimmy Kemp really got smucked when he threw that ball.
When Jimmy Kemp got up there, you saw him looking around and talking. He was saying, was that one caught? He had no idea, because when he threw it, he gets hit by Dave Chaters and just sort of buried and then pancaked to the ground right there. And he doesn't know if that's caught or not.
And he's just hoping it's caught by one of his own guys. Tell me it wasn't picked. 2nd and 10. Lions sitting back now with a 25-point lead. Here comes the blitz. Kemp in trouble, buried. Tracked down by Maurice Kelly. And the flush of success for the Edmonton Eskimos is short-lived. 1 first down, they leave the field, a loss of 12 on the play.
These are the linebackers for the BC Lions. David Mieva, Tyrone Chapman, Maurice Kelly, they're all coming. That's a full-out blitz. And Maurice Kelly reaps the benefits.
Full red,
Now Fleming to punt. Shipman and English are back.
Full red 464 is not working. Let's find it.
Hands, gents, hands, guys, hands.
Great kick by Fleming. Shipman from the 30. Al Shipman all the way up to the 43-yard line. A pretty good return on the play. And he's brought down by Mark Fairway, a 45-yard punt and a return of 8. Coming up live at the half. Maybe Bob Bilovich will tell us stories about that 1983 Grey Cup. Joe Barnes, remember those? Paul Pearson.
We'll
also look ahead to the Hamilton, Winnipeg, and Toronto, Saskatchewan games this week. We'll have both of those for you here on TSN.
Does Toronto go undefeated this year?
No.
Okay. They seem to think so. I know Saskatchewan might have something to say about it. Looking forward to that game.
First down for the Lions. Damon Allen, play action for Sean Millington. Sean Millington was the first player taken in the Canadian Football League draft in 1990, taken by Edmonton. Found his way out to his hometown of Vancouver and became a CFL All-Star in 93 and 94. At that time, wasn't able to hang on.
He always seems to come up big in the playoffs. It's Sean Millington. I mean, 1994 playoffs, had a touchdown in both games, and the big games, especially here in Commonwealth, he rises to the occasion.
Second down for the Lions. Long throw to Shipman, and the pass goes through his hands. Incomplete. It'll bring up third down with 1:44 to play in the first half.
Well, that was a long throw for what could have been a couple of yards, but the thinking from the BC Lions and Damon Allen's perspective is, if I get it in the hands of Al Shipman, even if it's only a 2-yard pass, he can likely do something with it after he catches the ball and he's one-on-one in the open field.
Shipman was actually here in Edmonton in training camp last year, and with Adam Rita now in BC, and Rita had him before in Memphis, and that's where he was discovered, really, Al Shipman, that in Memphis they felt he could be a player.
Hands, gentlemen.
Pasaglia Looked to fake it for a moment. Now gets a good kick away to Don Blair at the 27-yard line. Blair. Out across the 35, gets out to about the 38, an 11-yard return of a good 42-yard punt by Lou Pasaglia, who did it on the run.
I don't know how he got that one off. Tommy Henry was right in his face, and Pasaglia somehow got it off. So 47 years old, 43 years old.
Yeah, he's
I don't want to age him too much. 43 years old and still getting it done. Only missed one field goal so far this year.
1:32 to play in the first half. BC leading 28-3. And the Edmonton Eskimos have the ball back. Jimmy Kemp throws it underneath to Eric Blunt. And we welcome you to Commonwealth Stadium. And you're wondering, why is Jimmy Kemp in a quarterback for the Edmonton Eskimos? Well, we've had some kind of game here. The Edmonton Eskimos have turned the ball over in this game 6 times. The BC Lions have a 28-3 lead. They've scored 27 points off those Edmonton turnovers. Virgil Robertson took Edmonton's first offensive play in for a touchdown, picking up a fumble.
Danny McManus then threw a couple of interceptions, and that's why you see Kemp, who has already thrown one himself in this game.
Flags are down. BC looked to be offside. Now Kemp scrambles away looking for Don Blair, and he can't get to it. And then Jimmy Kemp's first pass was picked up. Eddie Thomas has 2 interceptions in this game. The Edmonton Eskimos, who are trying to win their home opener for the 14th consecutive year, are getting their hats handed to them in a big way.
13's an unlucky number, and it looks like things remain the way they are.
Offside, BC, number 74, second down, repeated.
The only saving grace for the Edmonton Eskimos is that the Lions twice were unable to take advantage of turnovers and had to settle for field goals. Otherwise, this game realistically could be about 40-3. Kemp at the control. For Darren Flutie, the pass is behind him. 58 seconds to play here in the first half. The crowd has been jeering the Edmonton Eskimos. Ron Lancaster has that Murphy's Law look about him, like what else could possibly go wrong? Well, Adam Rita, whose team is coming off a last-second win last week over the Calgary Stampeders, can't believe his fortune. Very few teams come into Edmonton and have this kind of success in a half.
Well, it was a real downpour in the first quarter, the very beginning of the game, and the ball was slick, and it really hurt Edmonton. As mentioned, a couple of fumbles, the interceptions. Gizmo's fumble. Sean Fleming to put it away. Zal Shipman from the 26-yard line. Shipman goes straight ahead. Jed Roberts among those who brought him down. A 42-yard punt and a return of 6. So the BC offense will go back to work with Damon Allen at the controls. And he's 9 of 18 for a touchdown. A very workmanlike day. And mentioned earlier, Damon Allen has a bandage on his throwing hand. It's the 3rd finger on his right hand. He was playing catch in training camp and damaged a tendon in his hand. And actually, if he took that tape off, his finger would bend like a fish hook. So he's got to keep it taped. And I said, doesn't it bother you throwing? He says, yeah, not really. Yeah, not too much. Well, if it's the index finger, it could be more of a problem because that's the one that makes the ball spiral. I asked David Archer about that. He said that's the one that'll make it spiral, but if it's that middle finger or the further along the hand, it's not going to bother him as much.
First down now, BC from the 32-yard line. Under a minute to play here in the opening half. Allen from the shotgun. Quickly to Larry Thompson, who's got a touchdown catch in this game. Thompson dives out across the 40, close to the first down marker at the 43-yard line.
Well, BC Lions really have had a good game plan coming into this. You saw the Damon Allen numbers earlier. Sean Millington's been a big part of their offense, as has Larry Thompson on the backside. Got some formations that Edmonton hasn't seen right now, and they're using guys that Edmonton maybe didn't game plan for, like Larry Thompson and Sean Millington.
The Edmonton Eskimos have won the last 5 games between these two teams, including sweeping the season series a year ago. But the last 10 games at Commonwealth Stadium have been split 5 each. Allen slips, now fires it deep for Alfred Jackson. Bumping with Reggie Pleasant, he makes the catch. Down to the 15-yard line. First down, BC with 22 seconds to play in the first half. Wow.
Jim Sandusky thinks this guy may be the #1 receiver in the league if he could stay healthy. He's big, runs good patterns. This time he uses his size to shield Reggie Pleasant from getting to that football and then just beats him to it and catches it at the high point.
A 52-yard gain for Alfred Jackson. That is his first catch of the game. He came into this third week of the season leading the Lions in receiving. First down to the 15. Lots of time for the Lions. Allen steps up to the end zone. And it's knocked away by Glenn Rogers Jr. Hand fighting there with Larry Thompson. Now, if you're the Lions, what do?
You kick the field goal. I think you kick the field goal, take some points. And right now, you're 15 yards out of the end zone. You got a chance for one more play. Chances of scoring are not very good, and here comes Louis.
Lou Pasaglia missed for the first time this year earlier in the half. He's 2 for 3 on the night. And now 6 for 7 on the season. This try to come from 22 yards out. This to give the Lions a 28-point lead at the half. Pasaglia puts it up and puts it through. 1 second left in the opening half, and the BC Lions lead this game 31-3.
Ron Lancaster's going to send the offensive unit on the field and probably kneel down for a play, go into the locker room, and regroup. I mean, that's all you can do. And, you know, the first thing he's going to say, and you can see it on his face, is, listen, everything that could happen, everything bad that could happen has happened, can only go up from here.
And you know what? The score is bad enough, but the scoreboard here at Commonwealth Stadium is wrong. It says it's 34-3 for BC.
They're getting caught up in the momentum. They just gave 3 extra points.
They just gave him 6 for a field goal. It is actually 31-3. And the Edmonton Eskimos kneel down, and on that rather sour note, to a chorus of boos from the home fans, the Edmonton Eskimos will go back to their locker room and regroup, while the BC Lions enjoy a 31-point lead.
Welcome back to CFL Live at the half. Surprise, surprise, just when we thought we'd figured out the CFL West and all those close games. A blowout in the making at Commonwealth Stadium. Rod Smith back with Bob Obilovich, Les Brown, and Marty York. And really, in this one, the surprises started early on, Obi, with all those turnovers. I don't think I've ever seen Edmonton. I can't remember '83 when they had another bad home opener. Ever seen the Eskimos play like this?
No, I mean, that certainly got BC into the ballgame, and they've taken advantage of all their opportunities. And on top of that, BC's had some nice wrinkles on offense tonight. They've featured Sean Millington a lot more, and we discussed that a bit last night. And maybe that meeting he had with Coach Rita paid off for the BC Lions.
I think maybe they got a little respect for each other in that meeting.
Yeah.
I think it's a classic case of overconfidence again. After the game that the Edmonton Eskimos played in Regina the other night, they thought they had won the Grey Cup. They were acting like they were the best team in all of football. And I think they're showing that they're a little bit overconfident. They figured they just have to go on the field and they were going to win. And they're playing lousy, let's be honest.
Well,
6
you know
turnovers.
what, though? They've had such a great record at home that, and after winning 2 good wins on the road, I mean, they were kind of in a position psychologically that maybe that would make them as like they are tonight to a degree.
Yeah.
Well, there's certain things I was going to say that you pointed out as well, that Edmonton really does look lackadaisical, including young players.
Well, I don't understand the part of when Damon Allen scores a touchdown, you got players helping the guy up off the ground. I mean, this guy's he's kicking my butt. I don't want to help him up off the ground. What I want to do is throw some dirt in his face and maybe get him frustrated. No matter how bad I like the guy, and I like Damon Allen a lot, but I tell you what, during the game, he's my enemy. I want to get him frustrated. There's big smiles and everything, you know, like celebrating going on right here during the middle of the game when you're getting your butt kicked. I don't understand that.
Yeah, I agree with you, Les. I also thought that Ronnie Lancaster was a little quick in yanking Danny McManus. I mean, this is the guy who's supposedly going to take them to the Grey Cup, and he throws 2 interceptions. I mean, he didn't have much help from his fellow teammates tonight.
Well, he might have also felt that Kemp might give him a little more as far as moving a little bit. Kemp's a little more mobile than Danny McManus.
Well, 6 turnovers in that first half. Edmonton Eskimos coughing it up a lot and paying for it most of the time. It is the BC Lions leading Edmonton by a lot. 4 converted touchdowns, 31-3. CFL Live returns right after this. Back to CFL Live at the half. The most important stat, of course, is the score, which really favors BC, 31-3. But I have a feeling another stat might reveal something. Turnovers. Let's head back to Gordon Glenn now, guys.
Well, Rod, for the Edmonton Eskimos, I guess you look at it this way. At least the stadium didn't burn down. And no one was killed. Yeah. So that's the good news for the Edmonton Eskimos. The bad news is they probably played their worst half of football at home in the 90s. You have to think. Here are the numbers through the first 30 minutes of play. And the BC Lions, they have 229 net yards to Edmonton's 7. The Eskimos have turned the ball over 6 times, 3 by fumble, 3 by interceptions. The Lions have 27 points off those turnovers. Glenn, if you're the Lions, what are you saying at the half?
Well, I think right now you just have to keep things going, but don't get conservative. You got to stay with your game plan. It's been working well so far. And if you're in the other locker room with Ron Lancaster, you say, let's put one drive together where we don't give up the football.
And right now, the Edmonton people are busy sewing handles on those footballs. The Edmonton Eskimos down by 28. Danny McManus may get the call to start the second half. It's coming up next here on TSN. Here's the numbers and the highlights of the opening half. Virgil Robertson took Edmonton's first play from scrimmage, a fumble, and returned it for a score. Damon Allen went in from 1 yard out after an Edmonton fumble. Damon Allen has passed for 209 yards. The Eskimos have just 7 between them. Larry Thompson able to go in for this touchdown. 27 of BC's first 28 points came off turnovers. Danny McManus pulled in the first half for Jimmy Kemp, who was intercepted on his first pass. Damon Allen has gone the distance for the BC Lions against his former team. The Edmonton Eskimos will get the ball to start this second half. Down 31-3. Well, Julio Caravana led to kick it off.
Yeah, Danny McManus had a chance to take a look at it from a different angle. Maybe he saw something in that BC defense that he can exploit in this second half.
Eric Blunt, who fumbled the ball twice in the first half, had trouble picking up that second half kickoff, and now gets out to the 25-yard line. The Edmonton Eskimos turned the ball over in the first half 6 times. And here's a few of the tastier ones. This is Danny McManus giving it off to Eric Blunt. That was the fumble that led to the Virgil Robertson touchdown. Eskimos then came back, ran an offensive play, then went back to the ground, gave the ball to Eric Blunt, who fumbled it again. Then Danny McManus picked off again, and now back to the live action. Tony Verse with the catch gets out to about the 28-yard line. 6 turnovers in 1 half.
It's hard enough to recover when you have a couple of turnovers in a game, let alone 6 of them. But I'm sure Ron Lancaster went in there and said, listen, these things have to even out. And Eddie Thomas had 2 of those turnovers. He had a couple of interceptions in the first half. And he said to Danny McManus, listen, these things will even out. They got a long way to go to even out, mind you. Let's just put a drive together and go back to the game plan.
Second and long, McManus in the shotgun. Over the middle he goes. Darren Flutie. Flutie's got a first down out to the 40-yard line. So the Eskimos move the sticks quickly. Is it out of the realm of possibility that down 31-3 they could come back?
Oh, nowhere near out of the realm. I mean, you got Darren Flutie, Eddie Brown, the rest of this receiving core, and Danny McManus, who's cool under any pressure. It's not out of the realm at all.
Pick up 13 yards in that last play, gives the Edmonton Eskimos a first down. McManus looking for Eddie Brown. He's got the catch. He's gone. Eddie Brown hot dogging to the end zone. Touchdown. 71 yards.
Okay, now what team went in the locker room and which team came out? Because, wow, It looks like a different team here. Straight man-to-man coverage from the BC Lions. And when you're in man-to-man, that's when Danny McManus is going to look for Eddie Brown simply because he's the fastest guy that he has to throw to. Eddie Thomas has had a couple of picks, but this time Eddie Brown wins the battle. Now, I'm sure that Ron Lancaster may have a word or two about the holding the ball out before you're in the end zone, but big play gets his team some momentum early. Is this out of the realm? I don't think so.
We've played less than 2 minutes of the second half, and the Edmonton Eskimos have cut the lead to 21.
Bubba, Ronnie, love you.
Just give me the football, he says.
Receivers always say that. I'm open.
Receivers are like 7-Eleven. They're always talking about how they're open all night.
Open all night.
Well, whatever Ron Lancaster said at halftime, bottle it.
Okay, now you see Danny McManus there. Doesn't look any different than he did when he threw the interception. Now,
I'm not big on that. I got to be honest with you, I'm not big on that.
No, and neither is Ron Lancaster. Simply because you could drop it, climbing around like that. The way the ball's been fumbling, I'm
when
sure.
You put the ball on the ground as many times as they have.
Put it under your arm, get across that goal line, then dance.
And now Lancaster has gone over and talked to Eddie Brown. Sean Fleming to kick it off. Maybe Edmonton was just waiting for the baseball game to end. Here comes Al Shipman on the kickoff return, waiting for one block. He had to turn back in. And as a result, the tackle is made by Mark Fairway. Lancaster came over, put a hand on Eddie Brown's shoulder a moment ago, whispered in his ear, and just, it appeared to say, great catch, nice touchdown. Now, hold down the celebrator.
See the way you made Holland bubble over. I need to. We're going to want some stack read, too. Because I think they're both sick. Let's go, baby, some juice for them.
All of a sudden, everything works now.
Yeah. They got one in the playbook that works. They're going to keep that page.
Now the Lions come back from their own 34. Allen hit as he threw the ball, and it's caught by Larry Thompson. Thompson's catch comes after Damon Ella was hit as he threw the ball, and Allen appears to be shaken up somewhat as he clutches his right elbow.
He got hit just as he threw the football, and that's how you get your fingers hurt as a quarterback. Melvin Hunter coming off the edge and put his right arm across Allen's body, and I think that's what Allen's elbow hit.
The gain was 4 for Larry Thompson, a man very much in the spotlight this week in BC. A comment that the Lions offense was too complicated prompted Adam Rita to ask him to stay quiet. Now Allen rolling to his left. On the run, Allen first down as he gets up to the BC 49-yard line. Well, this game began in a driving rain, and we'll go down to Ken Chillibeck and see how the field's doing. Ken?
Yeah, actually, the field's doing really well, considering just a couple of weeks ago they had to resod about 4,500 square yards of it after the U2 concert. It was a real mess around the goal line. They've resodded it. It's coming along. Talk to the players. They say it's holding up really, really well so far. So far, no big chunks taken out of it. Everybody's happy with it. A great turf here.
This was one of the first fields in North America to use a sand base underneath for drainage, and it's really made a difference, and most Major League Baseball and football stadiums do use that. Now Allen on the run again. Flag comes down. Allen slides into Edmonton territory down to 51. Lions want to call for late hit. Pickup of 9 for Allen, but it's likely to come back as the flag is in Edmonton's BC's offensive backfield, rather.
If Melvin Hunter is the referee, it's against the BC Lions.
Well, he's not the referee.
No, he's not.
BC, number 64, first down repeated.
Mo Elowanibi is called for holding.
Yeah, because Mo Elowanibi was working on Melvin Hunter from that side of the field, and he's going to get caught on the holding call. Here he is here. Here's Melvin Hunter right there. Now, Melvin Hunter works his way up the field, and he's the one who's going to get nabbed as he's holding on right there. When your hands as an offensive lineman get outside the shoulder pads, that's when you get called.
Now first and 20 for the Lions. The give to Sean Millington, and Benny Goods is all over him.
Is
a different Edmonton team in the second half.
This is a completely different team, and one that we're more used to seeing play football offensively with the big strike, and then that fires up your defense. And I think for the BC Lions, they're thinking, let's just minimize what we can, try and get a couple of this yards back. And Benny Goods was saying, not today.
Goods hanging on there to Sean Millington. Appeared to get the worst of that collision, and he is down on the football field. Benny Goods, a CFL All-Star in each of the last 3 years. 12 sacks a year ago for an Edmonton team that had 70 quarterback sacks. Known as the Grinch.
And you can see why.
An uncanny resemblance.
You're a bad one, Mr. Grinch.
Ooh, a little Boris Karloff from Glenn Suter on a Thursday night in Edmonton.
I'll tell you what, he plays big in the big games. Last year in the playoffs, he had a couple of sacks as well. He's just been a consistent performer year in and year out for the Edmonton Eskimos. You got to double team them, and when you do, there's a couple other pretty good ones up there that'll take advantage of it in Leroy Blue and Malvin Hunter.
It'll still be second and a bundle for the BC Lions. 2nd and 22 after that loss of 2. The BC offense was blessed with great field position in the first half, thanks to the turnovers. Interesting to see what they do if Edmonton can stop putting the ball on the ground. Allen for Trevathan over the middle, has the catch, but didn't head upfield. Reggie Pleasant makes the tackle, but Trevathan might not have realized how close he was to the first down marker.
Mike Trevathan does a nice job of cutting across the face of Tommy Henry, who's going to try and cover him. You see, he cuts right across the face there with a little swim move. But you're right, Gord. If he heads upfield hard, he has a chance to pick up the first down. He goes laterally and loses it.
And now Lupasag made a punt. Henry Williams and Don Blair back to receive. Gizmo had a good return earlier in the game, but he fumbled at the end of it.
Hands, guys, hands.
Here comes the rush, and they almost got there. This is Williams from the 10. Gizmo up the sideline, goes out of bounds at about the 25. The Edmonton Eskimos down by 3 touchdowns, but the second half is just underway in Edmonton. Back at Commonwealth Stadium, a game that seemed, well, a little bizarre. Takes another bizarre turn as this gentleman does his thing in the east side stands. They had a belly flop competition at halftime with a guy named Flavio. Wow. In the interest of good taste, we will not show that to you.
Well, they got something to cheer about now. They certainly didn't in the first half.
If you're just joining us, and most of you are because the Blue Jay game went long, 31-3 was the score at halftime. Danny McManus back in at quarterback, swings it out there for Eric Blunt, and Blunt fights his way close to the 30-yard line, and the stop is made quickly by the BC Lions, led by safety man Greg Frères. It's a pickup of 5 yards. Eric Blunt settling down now after 2 early fumbles in this football game.
Well, Greg Frères probably going to play a lot more zone defense because of this lead the BC Lions enjoy right now, and when they do that, Eric Blunt will become more and more involved underneath.
I don't understand that.
Why?
You shut a team down,
Yeah.
they don't do anything against you offensively, then you sit back and let them have momentum. McManus, quick drop, and guns it in there, almost picked off by Maurice Kelly. And the Edmonton Eskimos will be forced to punt. In week 1 for the BC Lions, that was the story of their game against Saskatchewan. They had the game well in hand. All of a sudden they sat back playing 3 deep.
Yeah.
And Saskatchewan came back on.
Well, I'll tell you what the thinking is, though, Gordon. I mean, you just look at that Eddie Brown touchdown. BC Lions in man-to-man, providing a little pressure, and Adam Reeves on the sideline saying that's how quickly you can put 6 on the board. So let's stay in the zone defense, make them put 5, 6, 7 plays together, 7 first downs together to score. Let's see if they can come back that way.
Sean Fleming back to punt. This is Al Shipman on the run from the 45-yard line and slipped down, and look at Tony Burst hustle down to make the stop on special teams. And Shipman is brought down at the 42-yard line. So Shipman, who lost his footing on this slick turf at Commonwealth Stadium, loses a couple on the return.
Should have just stayed there, because when he slipped down, he got up, went 5 yards backwards. That's when Burst hit him.
Tony Burst from Lafayette, Georgia, a resident now of Windsor, Ontario. And you see the quarterback comparison. Damon Allen with a tidy first half, and Danny McManus with 2 interceptions, 7 of 13, 1 touchdown pass so far. That was early in this second half. Give goes to Corey Philpott, and what a hit he took from middle linebacker Bruce Dixon. Shot his head back, and Philpott does a good job getting out to the 50-yard line for a 5-yard pickup.
Bruce Dixon definitely not a concern for Ron Lancaster, replacing Larry Ruck, who retired this year. And Dixon has played there before, played in the Grey Cup game for Edmonton last year when Ruck had a hamstring. So definitely not worried with Dixon in the middle.
When Edmonton and Toronto made the 8-for-8 trade 4 years ago, Bruce Dixon probably didn't realize at the time he'd be the only player to come to Edmonton and stay here the entire time. Eddie Brown was also involved in that deal, but he's gone and since come back. Now they swing it out to Millington. One-on-one with Willie Pless. And Pless holds him up long enough for Derek McCready to drop the bomb on Sean Millington.
Well, Pless did the right thing, because when you get in the open field, what you want to do is make sure the running back goes back to the inside. So even if you miss him, he goes to where your help is, and that's exactly what happens. You see Pless, he'll work to the outside here, make Millington cut back. Now watch, here comes his help.
Ooh.
That's a lot of help.
Well, Derek McCready with the good hit there, and Willie Pless does the great job on defense. McCready actually contemplated retirement in the offseason, but they think that what made him come back was the natural grass here at Commonwealth Stadium. He enjoyed playing so much and felt so good by the end of the year, he figured he'd come back.
Well, that's the thing. You have to practice and play every game on artificial turf. It'll take a year or two off your career because it pounds on those knees, and by the end of the season, you're sore and don't even want to play anymore.
Pasagna the punt. Blair and Williams back to receive.
Hands, 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 hands.
Hear the official calling out hands, hands, hands. Here's Don Blair. He's got his hands on it at the 17-yard line. Flags are down. Blair gets out to the 25. That'll be no yards against the BC Lions. BC with a 31-10 lead. The CFL Live returns to Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton right after this. Tomorrow night, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers and Hamilton Ticats meet on a Friday night game that sees 2 teams looking for their first win of the year. And next week, Jeff Reinbold and the Bombers go to BC as Reinbold makes his return to Vancouver. Here, the Edmonton Eskimos have the ball. Danny McManus on first down. Eddie Brown wide open. Has the catch at midfield and falls at the 50. Otherwise, he'd have his second touchdown of the half.
This is a bust in the BC coverage. Someone between Robert Holland and Eddie Thomas has to go deep. Neither of them do. Here's Eddie Thomas, here's Robert Holland. One of them has to be in the deep zone, and they both come up and jam. See, they both play the flat coverage, the short area. Eddie Brown recognizes it, goes deep on him.
36-yard gain. Eddie Brown, 3 catches for 116 yards and a touchdown in the game. Now from the 50 of the BC Lions, McManus. Lots of time over the middle, and Eddie Brown can't make the catch up at the sideline. And the rain has started to fall once again at Commonwealth Stadium. It was an absolute deluge to start this game. And you can see Eddie Brown with the leap at the sidelines.
See, Robert Holland that time did get deep, broke up on that football.
I'll tell you what, there were times in the first half where I saw fans building arcs as the water was really accumulating on the sidelines. Strangely enough, it does not accumulate much on the field here. Second down, McManus. Other side he goes. That's a one-hopper looking over there for Robert Gordon. And the Edmonton Eskimos will be forced into a kicking situation. Sean Fleming will punt it away. But Ron Lancaster's got to like what he's seen in the second half as opposed to the first.
Well, no question, and that's what we were talking about. I'm sure he went in there and said, look, it can only get better from here because, boy, that's the worst half of football I've ever seen Edmonton play, and they've looked a lot better in the second half.
Fleming now has the wind behind him as he's starting to swirl here at Commonwealth Stadium. Fleming booms it. I mean, into the end zone is Shipman 5 yards deep, and he brings it out. And he's brought down. Great Great special teams work by the Edmonton Eskimos. Tony Burse finished it off. Jay Hamilton started it. The Lions in a deep hole with a big lead when we come back. July 15th, 1983, the last time the Edmonton Eskimos lost their home opener. That was Dieter Brock against Warren Moon. My mother's birthday, too. She took it hard, as I recall. I can't remember exactly, but I think she was pretty upset. And the BC Lions might be upset that Al Shipman brought that ball out. Instead of giving up a single point, the Lions now start at their own 5. First down, again goes to Corey Philpott. Nothing doing. Benny Goods back into the game. Helps make the stop along with Glenn Rogers and Mike Sellers. And it's a gain of maybe a yard.
Well, Corey Philpott's been used in a lot of different ways in this offense for the Lions, and he's been at wide receiver, slot back, and not as often in the tailback position. And he's off to a slow start of the season.
2 years ago, Corey Philpott set the CFL record for touchdowns on a season with 22. In 15 games since then, he has scored 5 touchdowns.
And now he's going out there and lining up in the slot back position.
And flags come down. Is that too much time? Back they go. And the crowd certainly playing a role in that. And the Eskimos glad to have the fans here back on their side. Because I'll tell you what, this was the toughest room in the country for about an hour and a half.
But justifiable. After watching that first half of football, they weren't very happy.
Well, now the Lions are forced back to their 3-yard line. And the Eskimos, this is one of those points where a game could really turn. Second down, Allen in the end zone. Quick pass, Alfred Jackson has the catch and a first down out to the 18-yard line, covered by Reggie Pleasant. Alfred Jackson with a big catch for BC.
And he's gone deep early in the game on Reggie Pleasant and was successful with it when he came up with a big catch in the first half. So Reggie Pleasant has to respect him a little bit and give him some room here because he's playing the same man-to-man coverage, and that's why Alfred Jackson was able to run that curl in front of him.
Pick up a 14 yards for the man who was a defensive back in the NFL for the last 2 years with Minnesota.
Late corner.
Philpott lined up deep in the backfield. Takes the handoff from Allen. Derek McCready wraps him up quickly, but Philpott fights his way out across the 20 to the 23-yard line.
It is tough running on that front four of the Edmonton Eskimos, and then you throw in Bruce Dixon and a pretty good tackler in Willie Pless. Those are hard yards to come by.
Corey Philpott's averaging 5.3 yards a carry in 1997. And he, like a lot of other players in BC, having trouble adjusting to this Adam Rita offense. And one of the adjustments he has to make is he's not going to get the ball 25 times a game anymore.
Not handing off to him anyway. He might get it thrown to him that many times, but definitely not on the handoff.
Now into the wind and the driving rain on second down. Allen over the middle. Al Shipman has the catch. First down to the 33-yard line. Willie Pless up to make the stop on Al Shipman.
Al Shipman is going to be the middle receiver on the play and the underneath pattern. He's right here and is going to cut underneath the formation and just drag across the middle. Damon Allen picks him up. See, Bruce Dixon has to play soft and deep in the curl zone, and that gives him just enough room to pick up the first down. So Al Shipman leading the way in the Canadian Football League in all-purpose yards so far this season.
Allen in the shotgun on first down. Shovel pass, Sean Millington. And a good job by Willie Pless to limit the gain to 5 because Millington was just getting ahead of steam going.
What a scrape by Willie Pless. When I say scrape, it means just straight flow to the football. And Willie Pless does it perfectly because Mo Elowanibi, here's Pless. Now, Mo Elowanibi is going to try and come out and get the block on him. You're going to see 64 slide to him. Watch Willie Pless outrun that block and just scrape to the football.
Game was 5. It's 2nd and 5. The Lions began this drive at their own 5-yard line. Now on the shotgun. Allen under pressure. Can't get away. Brought down the 40, but a flag comes down at the end of the play. Holding will be the call against BC. Edmonton will decline that and force the Lions to punt. Allen came up well short of a BC first down.
Yeah, there's no question to decline the penalty. Allen didn't have a whole lot of room. It's called a coverage sack, and good coverage downfield. Didn't allow him to throw the football, and then it just the pocket just closed in on him.
BC number 65 decline. Third down.
Chuck Bradley is called for holding. That's the entire left side now. You get the center, left guard, and left tackle have all been called for holding. Corey Mantika and Todd Furtick on the right side have yet to be flagged.
Now you probably jinxed him.
Well, they always say the only time you talk about them is they get called for holding. I'll tell you what, when this game is over, Adam Rita should throw out that hat because it's shrinking rapidly. Henry Williams and Don Blair back to receive the kick from Lou Pasaglia. Good punt. Williams back at the 25. And Sean Millington trips him up. What a special teams play by Millington to get a hand on the Gizmo, who looked as though he had a seam. A 45-yard punt by Lou Pasaglia. A return of just 2 by the Giz. The Edmonton Eskimos get the ball back on offense.
Really was a great play because Millington had to fight off the block of Willie Pless, 39 right there. Now Pless does the right thing because had he taken a shot at Millington, he'd have hit him in the back and got the clipping call. He passed it up. Millington made the tackle, but he didn't lose the yards and penalties.
And you look at the familiar faces, 14 players in all have played for the other team.
Wow, that's like an all-star team, both sides.
And Millington was the first player taken in the draft in '90 by Edmonton. McManus on first down. Darren Flutie has the catch. A first down up to the 39-yard line. Robert Holland makes the stop. Classic Darren Flutie from Danny McManus.
And you'll see more and more of them. We talked about the zone defense. Flutie, one of the best in the game at reading quickly, finding the holes in the zone, and sitting down. He really doesn't have a called pattern in that particular instance. All he does is look for the coverage, find out where that hole is, and sit down and give his quarterback a target.
Flutie began week 3 as the CFL's leader in receiving yardage. McManus remains in the shotgun on first down. Underneath he goes, and this is Mark Tolbert with his first catch, and Tolbert streaks up the sideline into BC territory at the 48-yard line. I'm not sure he was the intended target, but he got the pass. It went over the head of Tony Burse and right to Mark Tolbert.
David Mieva at the left of your screen is supposed to get out to the flat. That's the short zone on the sideline, and he doesn't get wide enough. And you see why Mark Tolbert was open out there, because David Mieva didn't widen enough to that zone coverage.
It was to Tolbert. Although the way things have been going today, you never know. First down Edmonton from the 48. McManus. Lots of time. Back over the middle. Has his man Tolbert again. Down the 27-yard line. Mark Tolbert with the catch. His first 2 of the season. And he's got the Eskimos deep into BC territory.
All right, it is way too early in the game with a whole quarter to play to start playing the soft zone that BC is playing, because see the holes right there. Tolbert has a huge seam between the deep coverage and the underneath coverage to find the football.
Gains of 23 and 22 yards for Mark Tolbert. First down. McManus slipped, got it to Flutie. And Flutie's down to the 15-yard line for another Edmonton first down. And that's the final play of the third quarter. The Eskimos have just 1 touchdown to show for the last 15 minutes, but they've got lots of momentum on their side. Fourth quarter coming up next. Right now, back to CFL Live Control.
Private box in all of Commonwealth.
Welcome back to CFL Live after 3 quarters. Still very much BC Lions, but the coach just gets driven absolutely crazy by punt returners this year, choosing to pick it up around their own end zone.
Well, I don't understand it. We've been seeing it all season. I don't know if it's the coaches that are giving the return guys the green light, but I think it's stupid football. When you get the ball punted deep in your end like this and you got a lead, now you're putting your offense into a deep hole, bringing it out to the 5-yard line when we could have been on the 35.
Coach, you just will not say nothing bad about coaches, will you? Now, you know daggone well that a coach is standing on the sideline either telling you to take 1 point or to bring it out. Now, that's the coach's decision to tell a player what to do on that situation. That's just like a penalty being called. He's got to make the choice of whether to take the penalty or not.
Come on, Bob. Blame the coaches. Come on, Bob. Just once.
We have a rule. Like, we all used to coach our guys. You got a rule. If the ball goes over your head on the 10-yard line, give them the single.
Well, some of these coaches must not have that rule.
Absolutely.
So what would happen if they didn't follow the rule? Did you fine them?
No, it depends on situations, but normally our guys always followed the rules.
Always. Always.
Well, tell me, it's still a big lead for BC, but Edmonton's showing it can move the football now at least and hang on to the football, something they couldn't in the first half of this football game. Still think Edmonton's got a shot here?
No. Not a shot.
And you're usually the gutsy guy after
No,
three
they don't have
quarters,
a shot this game, but they do have something to look forward to, and that's the fact that their all-star cornerback from last year, Malcolm Frank, is coming back next week, or maybe the week after. But he has decided to return after he couldn't get a job coaching. He thought he was going to be able to coach at a university in the States. He's back, and that'll help, because I don't think, you know, Reggie Pleasant had some great days, especially for you in Toronto. I just don't think he doesn't have it anymore.
Well, let's see if the Eskimos have some more in this game as we head back to Commonwealth Stadium. It is still BC's game to win or lose. We head to Gord Miller and Glenn Suter. Guys?
Yes, and the rain continues here at Commonwealth Stadium. Raining about as hard as it was when the game began. The Edmonton Eskimos prospering in it, though. 1st and 10 at the BC 16-yard line. They trail by 3 touchdowns as the 4th quarter begins. McManus from the shotgun. To the end zone. Eddie Brown, touchdown! His second of the second half, and don't look now. The Eskimos have pulled within 14 points after the point after. Touchdown, Eddie Brown does it again.
And Danny McManus did a nice job on that play to look off safety Greg Frers and go to the backside to find Eddie Brown, who had outrun the corner, and Eddie Thomas.
Sean Fleming for the point after. Fleming puts it up and good. The Edmonton Eskimos now down 31-17 thanks to 2 Eddie Brown touchdowns here in the second half.
Eddie Brown read the play perfectly. Here's Greg Frers, the safety. His job is to be in the deep middle third. Look for backside post and front side seam pattern. Eddie Brown's running the backside post. Now you see Frers go to the first look of Danny McManus. That leaves Eddie Brown open on the backside.
Eddie Brown more subdued than after his first touchdown, and Danny McManus always subdued. He's the king of subdued. And Eddie Brown now sees the Edmonton Eskimos creep still closer.
Well, it's tough as the free safety. It's sort of a cat and mouse game with the quarterback. You're trying to go off his look and get a jump on the football, and sometimes they'll look you off. Danny McManus is very good at it. Looks off Greg Frers, and that's why Eddie Brown's open.
Well, you think back to the first half, and a couple of the opportunities the BC Lions had off turnovers that they weren't able to take advantage of. It really could have been about 45-3 at the half.
Yeah, Gordon, I think they got to go back defensively to their pressure package where they were sending sometimes all 3 linebackers, because that was successful in the first half.
Low dribbling kickoff to Shipman on the 25-yard line. Al Shipman up through the middle of that Edmonton coverage, fumble the ball, and the Eskimos have it back.
Oh, boy.
Trent Brown falls on the loose ball, and now a turnover cost the Lions dearly, their first turnover of the game. This has been like 2 entirely different games.
Absolutely. That's exactly what I was just thinking. I mean, the first half, everything going BC's way, and now in the second half, the exact opposite is happening. You see Tommy Henry coming in, stripping the ball out, and then safety Trent Brown right there to pick it up.
His second fumble recovery of the year. Now Edmonton on first down from the 40. McManus steps up and hits his man right in the middle of the field. That's Mark Tobert. Tobert has the catch, close to another first down at the 30-yard line. It is an Edmonton first down.
Well, good protection that time for Danny McManus from that veteran offensive line. There's the previous scoring drive, 5 plays, 83 yards. It took off a couple minutes, and before we can even get it up there, the next one started.
On first down from the 30. McManus, quick drop. Wanted Darren Flutie, stumbled and almost made the catch anyway. Flutie slipped while he made his cut, and he almost made that grab anyway.
Well, Danny McManus had to wait a little bit longer because of the slip from Darren Flutie, and that allowed Dave Chaters to get in his face a bit. McManus couldn't throw it out in front of Flutie, so he had to try and come back and catch it and couldn't hang on.
2nd and 10 for the Eskimos. 13.5 minutes to play in the 4th quarter. Edmonton was down 31-3 at the half. McManus can't find anyone open. Look out, he gets it away to the end zone. Touchdown! Darren Flutie. Now it's Edmonton's turn to take advantage of a turnover, and the Eskimos, with the convert, can pull within 7.
Darren Flutie, one of the best at finding a way to help out his quarterback when he's in trouble. And Danny McManus initially can't find anybody. Now he steps up in the pocket and is looking for someone to break open. And of course, who is it going to be? #1 receiver in the Canadian Football League. That's who.
29-yard touchdown catch for Darren Flutie, his second touchdown reception of the year. Sean Fleming puts the point after up and good. And the Edmonton Eskimos trail by a touchdown with miles to go yet at Commonwealth Stadium. The Edmonton Eskimos have won their first 2 games of the season right at the bell, and they are primed for a comeback again.
Darren Flutie right here. The call play is for him to run just an out, but you're going to recognize when his quarterback gets in trouble what he does. Here's the out. Now watch. Danny's in trouble. He turns up. Leonard Humphries gets caught. Touchdown Edmonton. Now, hey, a little reaction out of Danny McManus.
That's a freak out for Danny. That's a Danny McManus freak out. That's the equivalent of a cartwheel. Sean Fleming will kick it off. Look at McManus's first half numbers, and then in the second half, he's 12 of 16, 250 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Gord, this team is just too good to stay down for a whole football game. We're seeing it right here.
Fleming kicks it down to Shipman, who picks it up, and it goes out of bounds. Shipman, who took the ball out of the end zone earlier, makes another mistake handling that football as it was rolling out of bounds, and Adam Rita, furious at the BC sideline, doesn't like that too much.
Well, he's seen Al Shipman now have a couple problems. He took that one out, like you mentioned, Gord. He fumbled the previous kickoff, and now can't get the handle on that one and has his offense in bad field position again.
And Rita was none too pleased about what happened on that return. Well, if you can read lips, once again, we strongly suggest you don't. First down, BC, the Lions, their own 18. Allen steps up, has a man wide open, Alfred Jackson, and it's a foot race. Jackson all the way out to the 52-yard line. Cavis Reed comes up to make the stop, but Alfred Jackson turns in a huge play for the BC Lions. And it's a pickup of 36 yards.
Alfred Jackson, it's the same thing that happened to Greg Frere. You watch Trent Brown open up the middle and go right over to Trevathan. He gets out of the middle of his zone. Alfred Jackson sees the hole, picks up the football.
I'll tell you what, when the safety goes the wrong way, you don't miss it, man.
It is wide open.
First down, BC from the 52. Handoff, Sean Millington tripped up on his own man. He tripped on Jamie Terrace. Leroy Blue got credit for the tackle.
I was going to say, Jamie Terrace made the tackle, but Leroy Blue should get credit for it because he reestablished the line of scrimmage about 4 yards in the BC backfield. Leroy Blue's working on number 60. They're going to pull around. Watch him come up and take on that block and just create a pile 3 yards deep in the backfield.
Loss of 1 at 2nd and 11. Four receivers to the wide side of the field. They throw it back to Corey Philpott. Philpott still going, stumbles into Edmonton territory. Gets down about the 49-yard line. That will leave him a long yard, maybe 2 for a first down.
Do you mark it where he hit the ground or where he finished sliding to? Because if it's where he finished sliding to, he got the first down. Watch when he hits the ground here. He hits there. Now he's short there, but he slides 4 yards and has it by the time someone touches him.
Wow, this is a tough decision now for BC. It would be pretty close to 2 yards. 11 minutes to play in the fourth quarter. You're up by a touchdown. They got a long way to go. They're going to measure this, but they've got a long way to go. It's just over a yard.
It's a long yard. I don't know. You send in your punt team.
And the Lions.
I mean, right now, the Edmonton Eskimos have the momentum in this football game. Don't give them any more with the big third down stand here. Punt it away, get your defense on the field, let them see if they can work a drive all the way down the field.
Lupasaglia comes out to punt. Henry Williams and Don Blair back to receive. Don Blair spelled off at slot back by Mark Tobert the last couple of series, and Tobert's had a pretty good evening in his short relief spell. They just brought in a supply of fresh footballs from the Edmonton equipment room. They must be running short on dry ones.
I was going to say they're going to need quite a few.
Pasaglia to punt. Good kick by Pasaglia. Williams sees it goes out of bounds, and a great kick by Lou Pasaglia out of bounds at the Edmonton 13-yard line. And don't forget, tomorrow night, Friday Night Football continues. Winnipeg and Hamilton. Chris Vargas and the Bombers looking for their first win. So are the Tabbies. And tomorrow, you and I are up to Taylor Field, otherwise known as the house to Glenn Suter built. The Argos and the Rough Riders. 8 o'clock Eastern Time, 5 Pacific. Doug Flutie and company. Undefeated on the season so far. Saskatchewan 1-1 after falling to Edmonton last week.
Looking forward to seeing that Saskatchewan defense against Doug Flutie and Taylor Field. It'll be a good matchup.
The Eskimos hemmed in deep here at their own 13-yard line. And the give goes off to Eric Blunt. Blunt out across the 20. Gets out to about the 24-yard line, very close to an Edmonton first down.
It's amazing because that was the same play Edmonton tried to run the first play of the game, and it was fumbling around and touchdown BC. This time they almost pick up the first down. What a difference momentum makes.
Eric Blunt had a pretty good game against Saskatchewan a week ago. 16 carries for 88 yards, but week 1, 3 carries, -3. When you're -3 after week 1, you got a long way to go to 1,000. The Eskimos weren't really overwhelmed with Eric Blunt's year last year. They felt he could have been better tonight. 4 carries, 3 yards, 2 fumbles. But you know, he's over 1,000 yards. He was one of only 4 guys to rush for 1,000 yards.
Ron Lancaster is never happy with his running game. He's not happy.
Hang on, he had George Reed.
Yeah, he's high expectations.
The bar was set pretty high by number 34. Eskimos are second and just a yard. Give it off to Tony Verse. And Verse goes off tackle pretty close to an Edmonton first down. Tony Verse, as I mentioned, lives in Windsor, Ontario. He was playing arena ball a few years ago in Detroit and met his girlfriend who lives in Windsor, and he lives there in the off season. Has a plan to work for Chrysler when his career is over and likes it very much down there.
Boy, is he a great football player, all around good football player. Can catch the ball, runs hard, and he likes to be the hammer. He's one of those guys you call he's cut. What that means is
I'll tell you what,
he is chiseled. The most muscular people, 0% body fat on that guy.
Just like you.
Well, there's a few percentage points since retirement.
See, when I go to the body fat test, I just say yes. The Eskimos do have a first down at their own 23-yard line. McManus from the shotgun. Gets it away for Eric Blunt. He's got Verse in front of him. Blunt gets outside and has a first down as he leaps across the 35 to the 36-yard line. Another first down, and this crowd at Edmonton getting squarely behind the home team.
And Danny McManus paid the price for this first down. He can't find anything to the play side. That's where it's designed. Brooks Findlay comes up the middle with help from Joe Fleming and just rolled over McManus as he waits long enough, hangs in there, and dumps it off to his running back.
And you can see the Eskimos celebrating that latest movement of the sticks. On first down, back to the ground, Eric Blunt, and Blunt is dropped very quickly by Dave Chaters. Loss of a yard. Well, I'll tell you what, offensive linemen are tough, even when they retire. In the stands, there's Blake Dermott. Well, Blake's had better fashion days, but you know what, you got to stay dry somehow. And Big Blake retired last year, played in the Grey Cup, actually came out of retirement and played in the Grey Cup. He's sitting now in the alumni section. More than 200 former Edmonton Eskimo players live in the Edmonton area. McManus on second down. Has a man, but it's picked off. Picked off by Maurice Kelly, and the BC Lions have forced a 7th turnover from the Edmonton Eskimos.
This is a luxury the BC Lions have by playing Maurice Kelly and David Mieva at linebacker, because Maurice Kelly can run with anybody, slot backs, wide receivers, it doesn't matter. Maurice Kelly is right in here, and he's going to run with the receiver across the middle. Now watch the closing speed when the ball's in the air to beat Darren Flutie to the football, and not a bad catch when he got there.
The Edmonton Eskimos have fumbled the ball 3 times, and that is a 4th interception thrown by Edmonton quarterbacking, 3rd by Danny McManus. Lions have the ball now at the Edmonton 45-yard line. 8.5 minutes to play in the 4th quarter. Corey Philpott on first down streaks through the Edmonton defense down to the 35-yard line, close to another BC first down.
Ball slotted at the 35, enough for first down.
Well, we saw Danny McManus celebrate his touchdown pass a moment ago. How does he react to the interception? Oh, I hate that.
Well, you know, it's this point in the football game is obviously more crucial when you throw that interception. Your team has momentum and you're only a touchdown down. It's a little bigger of a play than in the first half.
Lions have 27 of their 31 points off Edmonton Eskimo turnovers. Lions dive ahead and have the first down on 2nd and inches. Danny McManus in the last 2 years, 95 and 96, threw 53 interceptions, by far the most of any quarterback over that period of time.
You know what I found interesting, though, and he's taken a lot of criticism about that, is when he gets in the playoffs, that completely changes. Last year in the 96 playoffs, he threw 1 interception and 4 touchdown passes, and it's been the same throughout his career. And there you see his total yardage.
Danny McManus has passed for more yards over the last 2 years than any quarterback in the Canadian Football League, and last year only Flutie passed for more yards.
Yeah, and that was when he was with BC for one of those years, and Edmonton here, of course, last year.
And to be fair, 2 years ago, Doug Flutie was injured and missed a good portion of the season. Yeah, in the playoffs, Danny McManus really is something. Last year, as you mentioned, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. In the Grey Cup year for BC, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception.
Yeah, that changes when the games are more important.
1st and 10 for the Lions from the Edmonton 35. This is Philpott, and he was stopped right away. Derek McCready jumped into the BC backfield and almost took the handoff.
Well, Derek McCready's having a great football game, and he has been in the Lions backfield for the most part through this whole game. Just straight bull rush, pushing through, keep working. It's a thankless job to be up there at nose tackle. You get double teamed all the time. You don't get a chance to get a lot of the sacks. You just have to take a lot of the hits and create openings for the rest of your teammates. And Derek McCready's done a good job of it tonight.
We mentioned earlier that the natural grass here in Commonwealth Stadium is likely what kept Derek McCready playing. And it's no coincidence when you look at the list of most games played, when you exclude kickers, that among position players, guys that play on grass tend to be the ones that play the longest. And Corey Philpott is the injured BC Lion. And we'll see if we can find out what happened to him.
Corey Philpott's just going to take the ball on a draw plays right here and then cut back against the grain and run straight into Derek McCready and take a look and see how he gets injured. Benny Goods gets in and see that right knee kind of get buckled underneath him. That's ugly.
Corey Philpott remains down on the field. The Lions lead by 7, but as Corey Philpott makes his way back to his feet, the concern is primarily for him. Back to Edmonton right after this. Well, the game story, the Edmonton Eskimos have turned the ball over 7 times, 7 also the magic number. That's the number of yards they had in the first half. The Lions have scored 27 points off those turnovers. McManus has thrown 3 touchdown passes in the second half. Now with Corey Philpott on the bench, this is Al Shipman with the catch. Shipman with the first down and then some up the sideline, touchdown. With Corey Philpott on the bench injured, Al Shipman steps up and goes 38 yards for the BC touchdown.
Well, the substitution they make, Gord, is to go to the 5 receiver and even 6 receiver pack. That time, Millington was way out in the receiver position, and Damon Allen had no one in the backfield. He's just going to throw the quick hitch pass out there to Al Shipman, and this is why they're excited about number 1 in BC. It's what he does after he catches the football. The Edmonton Eskimos have angles on him. Glenn Rogers Jr. and Trent Brown had good angles to make tackles, and he completely outran them.
Now Lou Pasaglia for the point after. Bad snap, they get it down, and Pasaglia, who has missed only 2 of those in his career, gets it through, and the Lions now lead by 14 points with 6:52 to play. And how significant is the turnover? The BC Lions now have 34 points off Edmonton turnovers. And what a touchdown that was for the BC Lions to give them some breathing room, and Damon Allen pleased as punch to see that.
Yeah, well, you know, I mean, he had a great first half and saw his team have a huge lead and then watch it disappear in the second half. So when he could come out and respond after the turnover, pretty pumped up about it.
Talking to Damon before the game, and he just looked around and said, I love playing here. He says, this place just feels like football to me.
Well, you know, I asked him, I said, Damon, at the beginning of the season, how long are you going to play football? He goes, as long as my brother, 1 more year than my brother does.
Yeah, and his brother shows no signs of slowing down with the Kansas City Chiefs, so why wouldn't he?
A little sibling rivalry going on between
Marcus
and Damon Allen.
Well, I remember when Damon Allen came up for his first day with the Edmonton Eskimos. They signed him in February. They brought him up to Edmonton to meet the media, and he wouldn't say 3 words in a row. And I think in his first 4 years, he didn't say much more than that.
He did his talking on the field.
Yeah, here's Henry Williams now diving ahead. He gets across the 40 out to the 42. The Eskimos have 6:47, but they're now down by 2 touchdowns. And that BC Lions scoring drive on the last possession keyed by the Maurice Kelly interception. 4 plays, 45 yards, and Chipman scored with Corey Philpott on the bench injured for the BC Lions. And the Maurice Kelly interception, the 7th turnover of the game by the Edmonton Eskimos, may be the one that finally cost them.
Yeah, when they look in the stats at the end of the game, the Eskimos may say, well, 1 turnover too many, and that was it.
The first 6 were fine, but that 7th one just killed us.
7 was got us.
First down, McManus stepping up. Unloads for Tony Burst. It's picked off again. Intercepted by Leonard Humphreys. And Humphreys into Edmonton territory at the 50-yard line. That's an 8th turnover by the Eskimos in the game. It's the 5th interception thrown by the Eskimos, the 4th by Danny McManus. Well, and Leonard Humphreys has the pick, his first of the year.
McManus has plenty of time to throw the football initially, and after he scrambles a little bit, he's in the wide open field, but the ball just floats on him and is way over the head of Robert Gordon and too short in front of Tony Burst, but he has plenty of time to look down the field. But the Lions have good coverage initially. I think Robert Gordon was his target. He just completely overthrew him.
Corey Philpott back in the game. He might want to go back out again after that. Look out. Leroy Blue and Benny Goods got there in an awful hurry. By the way, the record for interceptions thrown in a game for Edmonton is 8. There is a quarterback who threw 8 interceptions in a game. He played for Hamilton. I'm going to have to go to the book on this one. Sorry, Glenn. I got to go to the book on this one.
Now, you always have these down pat. Okay.
Okay.
This is the first time this has happened, by the way.
Most intercepted in one game. Oh, what is it now? I can't remember it now. I'll get it for you. Don't worry. Damon Allen from the shotgun. Allen now running for his life. Leroy Blue chasing after him. And Allen unloads it, and it's incomplete, looking for Mike Trevathan.
Well, the front 4 for the Edmonton Eskimos haven't given up, even though they've seen all these turnovers and spent a ton of time on the football field tonight. They're going to keep chasing after Damon Allen and Leroy Blue.
The record for most interceptions thrown by one quarterback in a game is 7, shared by 3 players, Sonny Wade, Bernie Filoni, and Al Doro. Bernie Filoni was that Hamilton quarterback who did it, the Hall of Famer for the Ticats. Sorry, Bernie. Sorry to bring it up.
Well, you know, yeah, he wants you to forget about it.
Lou Pasaglia to punt. Can't get it away. Now throws it ahead, and it's scooped up by Mike Sellers. Laterals it forward to Errol Martin. Martin's brought down at the 27-yard line. This will come back a piece on the forward lateral. 4:57 to play in the fourth quarter. Do the Eskimos have some life in them yet? We'll find out when we come back. So the Eskimos face third and a long yard. The give goes off to Tony Burst. He lost the football. Picked up by the Eskimos, and it might be enough for the first down. Eric Blunt jumped on the football. He needs to get down to about the 23.5-yard line, and I think he does have the first down. That might be a case where a turnover actually benefited the Edmonton Eskimos.
I was going to say the ninth turnover may not have killed them, but saved them. Covered by Blunt. They're measuring now.
The measurement to decide the game. Got it. First down, Edmonton.
Oh, boy. Well, Blunt, or excuse me, Tony Burst is caught dead to rights in the backfield by Maurice Kelly. The ball pops up, and Eric Blunt recovers it for the first down.
2:45 and counting to play here in the fourth quarter. The Eskimos need a quick touchdown, a stop, and then get it back again. But the BC Lions are hanging in with them step for step. What, do they want a dry football now?
I don't think there's any left. You're going to have to go with what they have.
Better get down to the hardware store and see if they got any J5Vs left over in the back room there. First down, Edmonton from the 23-yard line. McManus from the shotgun. Quick throw over the middle. Has a man, Mark Tobert. And he had to leap to make the catch, but he couldn't hang on.
Mark Tobert just clears through the zone, and Danny McManus just throws this one a little bit high for him. He's right in the middle and comes across here, and he just clears the linebacker. McManus sees him pop through the middle there. Just throws it a bit too high.
And Darren Flutie, waving his arms wildly, was wide open. 2nd and 10. Here comes the rush. McManus fires, and oh, what a shot. Darren Flutie took a shot, made the catch, and is very close to an Edmonton first down. He got rocked.
Well, he went back to the huddle and said, I was wide open, just look for me. Unfortunately for him, he wasn't wide open on this play, but did come up with a catch, and he did get sandwiched right there.
Helmet to helmet, too. Now another measurement, and you can see Flutie kind of... Do I play for Edmonton still or BC? I know I have a BC Grey Cup ring. Let's see.
I'll just go catch the ball. That's all I need to do. I'll figure out who I'm playing for later.
I'll tell you what, if you're the BC Lions right now, you get somebody on him and you don't let him go.
Yeah, maybe two.
First down from the 13-yard line. McManus to the end zone. Eddie Brown had it knocked away. That was very close to pass interference.
Well,
Eddie Thomas, who's got 2 interceptions in the game, battling with Eddie Brown.
This has been a battle. 2 interceptions for Thomas, and Eddie Brown's also caught a big touchdown. Now, you be the judge. Is this interference? Coverage initially, little bump there. Receivers, I'll definitely say yes.
Yes, I would say so. 2nd and 10, Edmonton. 2:11 to play in the fourth quarter. Early movement, flags are down. Free play for Edmonton. McManus, end zone, Tobert. Now pass interference to be called on Tyrone Chapman, who hooked Mark Tobert in the end zone.
No question there.
So you wave off the offside, you take the pass interference, that'll be 1st and goal from the 1.
Yeah, and, you know, where there was question on the Eddie Thomas play on Eddie Brown, there was absolutely no question that Tyrone Chapman interfered with Mark Tobert on that one.
Offside. BC number 74 declined. Forward pass interference delivered in the end zone. BC number 7. First down.
Tyrone Chapman call for pass interference on Edmonton's Mark Tolbert in the end zone.
Right to the right of your screen, you see 56 put the collar right there on Mark Tolbert. No question.
You know, I know you defend defensive players all the time.
No, not that time.
No.
But he's not a DB, he's a linebacker.
First and goal from the 1. McManus. Tony Burr stops over. Touchdown.
A little bit of an argument from the Lions down there. They don't think he got in.
Tony Burr goes in for his 3rd touchdown of the year. And there goes that fire truck that you hate so much.
Oh, there it goes. Talk about the athletic ability of Burr. Look how high he gets. Pete Miller hits him right in the hole, and Robert Holland as well. And if he got in, it was only just.
Now Sean Fleming for the point after. This to pull Edmonton back within a touchdown. The Edmonton Eskimos went 6 full quarters without scoring a touchdown in the last 2 weeks, but now have exploded.
Now
for 4 in the second half here.
Now Coach Gord Miller here. Now do you start thinking about this one? Do you go onside or kick it deep?
I think you kick it deep.
Well, let's take another look at the touchdown first. He's awfully close. He goes up and over the top. All he has to do is break the plane, and I think he did with his heel.
Just the ball has to touch the goal line.
The ball has to cross the plane of the goal line, but
I think if the Eskimos, you kick it deep and hope for the stop here. 2:04 to play in the 4th quarter.
You know, that's
stops on incompleted passes and going out of bounds. You get lots of time.
And that's not a bad school of thought when you think of the trouble that BC has had on the kick return with Al Shipman running around back there. He's had a couple fumbles and dropped a couple. So,
well, it took him a while. 10 plays to go 44 yards. It took him nearly 3 minutes. The pass interference in the end zone didn't hurt, but what a catch Darren Flutie made to make the first down on the helmet-to-helmet collision.
Well, the Lions right now have what they call their hands team out there. They put a lot of defensive back and receiver type guys, keep them up and look for the onside kick.
Shipman and Philpott are deep. 10 men up for BC. Fleming to kick it off. Sends it deep. This is Shipman. Rather Philpott from the 25. Corey Philpott gets up to the 45. A good return for BC, because if the Lions do go 2 and out with the punt, Edmonton will have to start deep.
Now this is where you find out what kind of offense you have. The chips are down. David Allen puts a drive together here. The game is over.
1:59 to play in the 4th quarter. BC leads by a touchdown. At halftime, it was 31-3 Lions. Allen's having a good night. Millington in motion. On first down, they give it to Philpott. Not much. A flag comes down at the end.
Holding against the Lions.
Well, now do you take it?
Yeah, I think you take it. Get that field position advantage if you can. You know they're going to be in 1st and 20. Defense is playing pretty good for Edmonton.
I think you decline it. If you decline it, it's 2nd and long. And Ron Lancaster has decided he'll decline that penalty.
Holding, BC number 65, decline.
Well, this could be.
Now the clock will start. Well, as soon as Ken Lazarick blows play in, the clock will start.
Now 2nd and 7. 2nd and a long 7, which is what it is right now, is convertible. This could be a big decision right here for Ron Lancaster, whether or not it backfires.
Clock is running at 1:45. 2nd and long for the Lions. Flags are down. There was early movement, and the Eskimos are indicating that the Lions drew them off. I'll tell you what, BC looks like they go offside almost every time on offense. And Leroy Blue's indicating it's against the Lions, and it is.
Only difference is...
Now, you have to take that because the play is blown dead. And that will stop the clock.
Well, I couldn't pick up from our angle who was offside on the play or the illegal procedure.
Looks like the right tackle.
DC number 64.
Yeah.
Still second down.
Mo Elwanibi goes a little too quick.
Mo Elwanibi is the left tackle on the play. And right here, take a look and see. Yeah, drops that left foot.
He has that almost every down, though. And I've been surprised it wasn't called earlier.
Well, Malvin Hunter lines up so wide that he wants to try and get every advantage that he can and get back there in his pass block position.
17th penalty against the Lions in this game. For a team that began this week 3 as the second most penalized team in the league. Loss of 5 on the penalty. Now it's 2nd and 13. The clock will not start until the ball is snapped. Allen from the shotgun. Can't get away. Willie Pless ran him down. The BC Lions will be forced to punt. With 1 minute and 30 seconds to go in the 4th quarter, the Edmonton Eskimos will get the ball back.
David Allen saw a hole in the Edmonton defensive line right here and thought he could run the quarterback draw on his own. I don't think this was a call play. I think he saw it, but it closed up in a hurry with McCready and Benny Good sliding into the middle.
Now the Edmonton Eskimos put Eddie Brown back on punt return. It'll be Brown and Williams back deep for Edmonton. Eddie Brown returns a lot of kickoffs, but not many punts. Pasaglia had a punt from his 35. Two of the league's best burners are back for Edmonton. And those who stayed through the rain are getting a treat tonight in Edmonton.
Hands, gentlemen, hands.
And they almost got there. No flag on Pasaglia. This is Gizmo from the 20. Nothing doing. Great special teams work by Brad Yamoka, the backup fullback. The Eskimos went after Pasaglia, didn't get it, and didn't get much on the return. In fact, they might have lost a couple. And Brad Yamoka, the 3rd-round pick out of UBC, makes a big play.
And I'm thinking Louis Pasaglia, at 43 years old, does not need this. That kind of pressure and that big of a kick. He gets it off. I don't know how he did. And then the big tackle by Yamoka downfield.
And 24-year-old Brad Yamoka hustles down on the coverage. Now the Edmonton Eskimos begin at their own 18. 1:20 to play in the 4th quarter. McManus. Lots of time. Wide open. Robert Gordon. The Eskimos screaming at him to get out of bounds. The entire Edmonton bench screamed at Robert Gordon, come to us, go towards the light. And he did to stop the clock. Edmonton in the hurry-up offense now. 1st down at its own 43-yard line. Lots of time here. 1:11 seconds.
Unbelievable amount of time on that last play for Danny McManus to throw the football. There was no pressure from the BC Lions front four.
Eddie Brown, Darren Flutie, swung out to the top of your screen. Here comes the rush. McManus has time, has a man picked off. Maurice Kelly intercepts it. Maurice Kelly with his 2nd interception of the game. It's the 6th interception thrown by Edmonton, 5th by McManus. 9 turnovers, and that will be the Edmonton Eskimos' tombstone tonight.
And another great play, Gord, by Maurice Kelly, because Danny McManus was throwing to a spot on the play, and it looked like he had a receiver open, but Maurice Kelly did what we call a speed turn and came back. He's number 11 to the right of your screen. He's beat initially, but turns around, does a little bit of a speed turn, and cuts underneath Mark Tolbert for his 2nd big interception of this game.
9 turnovers by the Edmonton Eskimos in the football game. 6 of them are interceptions. 5 thrown by McManus. Corey Philpott now on the carry. And Philpott will slide down to the 34-yard line.
Eddie Brown was on that interception, wanted to get the football. Obviously, the big play guys want the ball, and Eddie Brown cannot believe he was sitting over there open, and McManus threw the interception. And that one hurts. The 8th and 9th hurt.
5 interceptions tonight. 39 seconds to go in the 4th quarter. Oh, look out. Corey Philpott had about 3 people on his back right from the start there. He'll slide his way down close to the 32-yard line.
Dives ahead for maybe a couple.
So the Edmonton Eskimos appear ready to suffer their first loss of the year. They'll drop to 2-1. The BC Lions will go to 2-1. Saskatchewan, with a win over Toronto this weekend, would go to 2-1.
There's interesting conversation going on the BC bench now as to what they should do, because they send the field goal team out here. That gives them obviously the cushion they need, but then you can also have that chance of one being blocked.
Well, you can't send 40 guys in the field. That's the problem. So Adam Reed has got to decide which 12 he wants out there. Caravana's out there to hold for Pasaglia's field goal try. This will be an attempt of about 40 yards. And Adam, time to retire that hat, big fella. Those leather jobs shrink in the rain. He might not be able to get it off tonight.
Well, he's sort of backed away. He's usually right at the line. Yeah. Kind of backed. I don't think he wants to watch this the way this game is going.
Caravana to hold. Pasaglia from 40 yards out. Caravana gets it down. Pasaglia puts it up and through. Lou Pasaglia puts the BC Lions over 40. It's 41-31, and appropriate that Louis would do that because he's over 40 himself. A 10-point lead with 11 seconds to play now in the 4th quarter, and for the first time since 1983, the Edmonton Eskimos will lose their home opener. I'll tell you what, you talk about big wins for the BC Lions. They don't come much bigger than this. A team that has lost 5 straight to Edmonton. They go to Commonwealth Stadium and beat an undefeated team.
In the pouring rain.
In the driving rain.
Leroy Blue and that defense for Edmonton did everything they could. You know, when you think about 9 turnovers, defense played pretty well to keep them in it.
Now McManus tripped up and down. Give credit for the sack to B.J. Gallus, coming in a backup capacity, and with 6 seconds to go.
He's pretty excited.
Yeah, it's his first
ever play in Canadian football, and he gets a sack.
Kind of like that. Now McManus will probably just sling one deep if it gets picked.
It's a gentleman's 10. Pick up the ball and go home.
That's right. The mercy rule comes into effect at some point on that. This, barring penalty, will be the final play of the game. McManus out there for Darren Flutie. That pass falls incomplete, and the BC Lions pull into a tie for first place atop the West Division with a 41-31 win over the Edmonton Eskimos. BC and Edmonton share top spot in the West. Back with more on the CFL Live when we return right after this.
The CFL Live on TSN is brought to you by Advantage, providing solutions for business. And by Gatorade. Life is a sport. Drink it up.
We were live and interactive here at TSN, and here is your QB1 winner for this game tonight. Reminder, we're just halfway through week 3. We've got Friday night football from Ivor Wynne Stadium, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, and a battle to get out of the basement in the East, the 0-2 Ticats and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And then on Saturday, Toronto Argonauts expect a big challenge against the Saskatchewan Roughriders at Taylor Field. The final tonight at Commonwealth Stadium, BC wins it by 10. Thanks for watching. From all of us here, have a great night. So long.